Get someone that is not from the bigger parties, but I appreciate the support.
The DA believes the city of Ekurhuleni has become the epicenter of tender corruption, with a significant number of heads of departments under the spotlight. Several Ekurhuleni senior officials have recently been named at the Mzansi Commission, while some have been arrested for fraud. Amongst them is City Manager Makashule and EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. Earlier today, the party opened a corruption case against former City Manager Imogen Mashazi for allegedly violating procurement processes. Alfara Mushwana reports.
EMPD Chief Isaac Mapieye has recently faced allegations of sexual misconduct, while his deputy Julius Mkhwanazi was named at the Mzansi Commission for alleged links to criminal elements. The city's head of IC, Timoloko Mnyapau, is on suspension over alleged negligence related to a billing scandal that resulted in a 2 billion rand loss in revenue. Meanwhile, current city manager Kayiso Lirutla was recently arrested on fraud charges, while his predecessor Imogen Mashazi faces corruption allegations. DA Ekurhuleni mayoral candidate Katuchero Rasilingwane says the city of Ekurhuleni is on its knees.
You mentioned all of them. Almost 50% of the HODs are currently going through some sort of corruption allegation, or they're suspended because of one reason and the other.
The DA opened a corruption case against Mashazi today following reports that she failed to declare a 3.5 million rand private flight to London for shopping. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Germiston.
Hawks officer Carl Sander has testified about the difficult relationship with his boss, KZN head of the Hawks, Leseja Sinona. Sander says Sinona pushed him out of the narcotics division on trumped-up corruption charges and subjected him to 2 polygraph tests, including one for stealing a coffee machine. Sander has been testifying at the Mzansi Commission in Pretoria today. His testimony forms part of the Commission's probe into the large consignment of cocaine that was stolen in November 2021 from a Hawks storage facility at Port Shepstone. Following the theft, Sander says Sinona treated him like a suspect despite him not being based at the Port Shepstone office and having no knowledge of the drugs.
I was on leave, came back to work. It was all over social media that the stuff had been stolen. Got back to the office. Our senior managers came into the office one day, said what they needed to say, and then we were told that we were all suspects. Obviously, I did not agree with that. And then we were sent for polygraphs.
Sander also testified about another incident where Sinona ordered him to take a polygraph test for a missing coffee machine.
My only safe space was my coffee machine, and then they stole my coffee machine inside the DPCR. Sorry, I'm laughing about it. It's still so annoying. And I had to get polygraphed because of the theft of my own coffee machine.
Who asked you to be polygraphed for the theft of your own coffee machine?
General Sonona.
While Sander passed both those polygraph tests. The Brakpan Regional Court has found that the man accused of killing a witness linked to the Mzansi Commission is likely to interfere with witnesses if released on bail. The magistrate says Matipandile Soteni has skills that show he would be able to also tamper with or conceal evidence. Soteni is facing 16 charges, including murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder in connection with the death of Marius van der Merwe, also known as Witness D, who was shot outside his home last year. Makashule has more.
Matipandile Soteni was faced down during the delivery of his bail judgment when Magistrate Tlakale Satekhe read that he had been denied bail. Heavily armed police closed in on him, ready for any reaction. The magistrate says Soteni is likely to evade trial if released on bail, and that he has the means to interfere with witnesses as he was privy to information that was not contained in the docket, such as the state of the children after the shooting or the arrival of emergency services. Satekhe says at no point did Soteni undertake not to interfere with the deceased family, who are known to him and are complainants in the matter.
The killing of witnesses undermines the proper functioning of the criminal justice system. Based on the above stated facts, I find that there is likelihood that the applicant, if he were released on bail, he will endanger the safety of any person.
Witness D's sister appeared emotional as the judgment was handed down. Makashule, Eyewitness News at the Brakpan Regional Court.
Well, gold is trading at $4,506.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.24 to the dollar, 21.87 to the pound, 18.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $93.98 a barrel.
And in your sport, SAFA establishes admin committee for Bafana's World Cup campaign after visa debacle. Ishmael doesn't miss a step after coming out of retirement for the Proteas women. And Roland Garros quarters for Koboli and Kalinskaya.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN, Mzansi's MP Makashule Gana has been elected as the chairperson of the Parliamentary Impeachment Committee.
That classic, I probably don't need to tell you, but I will anyway. Earth, Wind and Fire. The song is called September. So what we're asking you to do in advance of our music feature at about 20 to 6, songs that have months in the title. Your favorites, please. A song that has a month of... On the markets, the JSE off to a tough start this week with the all share down by 980 points, a loss of 0.85%. The biggest loser so far, the gold mining company Pan African Resources, down by 11%. PanAf released an operational update around mid-morning today. Didn't look that bad to me, but the market clearly thinks otherwise. We'll get Stephen Curtis's expert insight into that. Boxers down by 3.4%, AECI off by the same amount. On the upside, Bytes has gained 4%, Momentum 3.2 and Telkom 2.1. The gold price is down today by $32.44, but Platinum stronger, up by $20.11. Rand trading at 16 Rand 25 against the dollar. A euro will cost you 18 Rand 93 and 21 Rand 88 will get you a pound. Brent crude around $94 a barrel, a gain of around $2 today. As I said, Stephen Curtis, lots of insight and information for us. He's with us at 4:25. Sport with Anthony Teixeira. Karabo Chale has the latest traffic news, and Bali Dlamini, who you heard at 3, is joining us again at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live, and if it's happening in 702 land, you will get to hear about it here first, unless, of course, you have heard about it well before we did. Maybe it's happening in your neighborhood. Maybe your grapevine has various strands that mine doesn't. I'm sure it would. Why wouldn't it? So if you're hearing about something that we don't know about, please share it with us and get in touch. 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702.
702. Let's walk the talk.
So one of the big stories of the year, I think it's really important. Happy birthday to you, Kruger Park. Turned 100 yesterday. And of course, for many people, being in the wild means that in the dead of night, you get to hear something like this. Those last little mini roars at the end, if you count how many of those you hear, that will tell you how close the lion is, which is, I guess, kind of logical in terms of physics and sound. But if you hear about 5 or 6, he's next door. He's very, very close indeed. So the question I wanted to ask you, I mean, I've said this before, this is one of the happiest of my happy places. I didn't go to Kruger Park much as a kid, actually, very interesting, but I started going from my late 20s, which still has left me a good many decades to actually enjoy a place I absolutely think of as paradise. But I'm keen to know, what does the place mean in your life? Have you been? If you've been, what has it given you? And, maybe later in the show, if there's time, I'll share a few thoughts about what it's given me. It goes way, way beyond the kind of sightings you see and just the magnificence of the animals. But also, if you've never been, is it lack of interest? Is it lack of opportunity? Give us your thoughts. The Kruger Park, what does that mean to you, even if it doesn't mean very much at all? 072 702 1702. Kabazela, your place or not? Conversations, I don't get the impression you go much.
Yeah, I haven't been, afternoon John and afternoon to the 702 family. I haven't been to the Kruger Park in a very long time. But I used to go quite a bit with my aunt and uncle and cousins. They are frequent, visitors to the park, and have been since my cousins were, kids.
Yes.
And what's quite beautiful, what they have done is each game drive that they would go out on, they would have a A4 book, and they would write exactly what they see. And my uncle was a very good drawer. He could draw very well.
Brilliant.
So he would often draw, like if there was a pride of lions sitting down there or a leopard in the tree, he would sketch that. He would sketch the routes that they had taken that particular day. And they've documented every trip they've had for years and years and years. And they've got all this that
What
they
a
can
treasure.
go back. It's really, really beautiful. And sadly, he passed away a couple of years ago, and they stopped going. They hadn't gone for a long time because it was just too difficult for them to go. And they eventually went last year for the first time since his death, and he'd been gone for about 4 years now. And you can imagine the emotions that they would have had going back there after all that time. So I have very fond memories going with them as a kid, and they've got home videos as well. So I think for me personally, it's a place where you completely shut down.
Yes.
You relax completely because it's that early morning game drive. You come back, you have a bit of a kip and sleep and relax. Then you go out again a bit later. But, now this kind of environment that I'm in at the moment in terms of my life, my missus is not a massive game, a park fan, unless it's maybe a 5-star bush camp.
Yes.
Way out of a producer's budget. So I mean, I'm trying to get her to, consider going through and maybe spending a couple of days there and seeing what it would be like,
Yeah, it's always fascinating to go with people who either haven't been a lot or going for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely special to go with kids. Karapachali, game reserves, part of your life, Kruger?
I used to love, actually, I still want to go to a lot of game reserves and just doing the game drives in the morning. That's my favorite. We used to do it a lot when I was a kid. At school, we used to go to camp outs where we used to go to game reserves. And there was once where we went in primary school, we went to a camp out just outside the Kruger National Park, and then we drove in early in the morning and we had this nice drive. It was one of my favorite things. We saw some amazing animals, and I remember we once had a night hike.
A night hike?
Night
on
hike.
foot?
On foot at a
in
nature
the Kruger
reserve.
Park?
No, not in the
gonna
Kruger.
say.
It's just another nature reserve kind of
hey?
setup. And it was so amazing, like that lion roar thing.
Yeah.
And we were like, I can't say the word, but we were cucking ourselves.
You just did. Beep. Sorry, it was a bit late.
We were scared because we could hear the lions close by, and we could hear the hyenas laughing in the background, and it was scary. And that's the kind of atmosphere and the holiday that I want my son to kind of experience one day. But my madam is like, why do we have to go in the wilderness? Why do we have to go camping? She doesn't get it because she grew up in the rural areas where like, most part of the area is just the wilderness. And she just doesn't get it. And I'm like, we should go. It's just the experience. It's quiet and you're just feeling the nature and the animals.
So good luck persuading her. I would lose the night hike for the first trip. I think that may not actually be a winner. And don't talk about it. I don't know if she's listening now. No night hikes, they're not planned. Very quick response to what you said about your cousins. A very dear friend of mine got me back into going to Kruger in my late 20s. And he was my constant companion when we went. And he died a couple of years back, very young. And the next time we went, it was his partner, my wife and I, and we went and kind of retraced the routes, and a part that we'd all been to together. And it was really interesting. We saw nothing. It was almost as if there was like a couple of days of the bush morning, I mean, obviously I'm projecting hugely and imagining things, but even the stuff you would expect to see, we saw virtually nothing in a really game-rich park. So, powerful memories, but I'd love to get yours. Please do call us on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. Obviously, if you love the Kruger Park, I'm keen to hear. But I'm also keen to hear from people for whom it means nothing. And I stress that for a particular reason. This is a South African holiday destination that you actually pay for, whether you visit or not, because Kruger is substantially funded by our taxes. So, like it or not, you have a stake in it. And let's get your views. How could we make it more accessible, more interesting if some people are hesitant about going? 072702 1702, 22 minutes past 3.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Okay, out on the roads, the traffic jungle this time, never mind the bush. Karabo Charlie, how are we looking at the start of a day of a rush hour on a new week?
Well, not much to talk about. I must say things are looking really good, John, at this stage. Free-flowing traffic across most parts of our highways in 702 land. However, we still have slow-moving traffic. This is generally the peak hour traffic. If you're leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards the Boysons area, slow-moving traffic. This is on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange. However, if you're heading into the Joburg CBD coming from the Riverlea area, some unusual traffic. This is on Main Reef Road between Production and the M2. So if you know what's causing that, please let us know. You can WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. In Devland, there's also slow-moving traffic. This is on the Golden Highway on the N1 between this is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
You're with John Perlman on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Okay, let's go down to Parliament now. Makashule Gana from Rise Mzansi has been chosen to chair the impeachment inquiry that will look into the Phala allegations around President Cyril Ramaphosa. A lot of lobbying, as I understand it, before a decision was made. But let's get the inside track. Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN reporter, joins us now on the line. Lindsay, 19-12, as I understand it, in favor of Makashule Gana, who got the backing of the ANC and the DA. Who was ranged against him? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. This afternoon, preempting that their GNU partners were going to put up an alternative, and that alternative was going to be Makashule Gana. And so they nominated him themselves and let the DA second that nomination. He came up against the UAT's Wonderboy Mahlatse, and he was the candidate preferred by the so-called Progressive Caucus here in Parliament, who had a 2-hour-long lobby meeting here this morning, comprising the MKP, the EFF, the UAT, and the ATM, who you will recall was the party that initiated these impeachment matters way back in 2022. But it wasn't going to be a candidate that the other GNU partners were going to accept. It did get some other opposition support, notably from Action SA and the ACDP, who supported MP Mahlatse, but it wasn't to be for him. And as you pointed out, 19-12, Makashule Gana being the preferred candidate, especially amongst GNU partners.
What is the role of the chair? I mean, what should we expect? There is some sense people might have from the ad hoc commission looking into the allegations prompted by that press conference of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Fairly similar to that, or is this one more complicated?
Well, we have nothing to go by, John, other than perhaps Busisiwe Mkhwebane's impeachment inquiry when she was the public protector. And I think every inquiry, depending on what it is that they are inquiring about, it will give rise to the way, the format in which that inquiry will carry out. And as we know, because this kind of impeachment inquiry is not being tested in Parliament, those rules are still subject for negotiation. Makashule Gana, in an interview after this very short meeting here this afternoon, telling me that his focus is on setting up the parliamentary processes, working with the Secretariat, making sure that all those processes are in place in terms of whether this is going to be an evidence-led inquiry, in which case they would need an evidence leader, as we've seen with other inquiries here in Parliament, and really getting the staff set up to be able to, and the support structure to be able to conduct such an inquiry. As I said, the rules are still to be established as to how exactly this is all going to play out, but he is quite adamant that unless there is some other kind of process that puts a stop to this, he is focused on meeting with parliamentary administration staff to get this process off the ground, John.
Lindsay, the degree to which this process might be adversarial, and obviously there will be differing views and differing perspectives, as they should be. I think some people's concern would be if that then kind of tips over into arguments over process and almost looking to score particular political points at the expense of getting to the bottom of something that is in sore need of getting to the bottom of. I mean, even though there were differing views as to who should chair it, do you get a sense that the Commission is of one mind as to the nature and importance of the task?
I think in one mind in terms of what they need to get, what they ultimately want out of this process to clear this Phala matter once and for all. However, I don't think they are necessarily going to agree on how they get there, and that we already saw play out a week and a bit ago when these rules were discussed about whether, for example, MPs will be allowed to introduce their own witnesses.
Right.
Who's going to do the questioning? Is there going to be an evidence leader? And we know that in the past, not all political parties have even agreed on an external legal person to lead the evidence in these kinds of inquiries. So I don't see that they are going how this gets carried out, and we've already seen in this very short voting process here this opposition, even from some members of that progressive caucus against Makashule Gana. Of course, many political parties view him to be a fair choice, someone who's not going to play politics. But of course, you're not going to convince everyone on both sides of the House that that's going to be the case. So I think while the intention might be the same from all political parties, how they arrive at that point, I don't think there's going to be an immediate consensus as to how they do that.
Thank you so much, Lindsay Dentlinger. The latest from Parliament.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
The MMC of Finance in the city of Joburg announcing some sharp tariff hikes in the new 97 billion rand budget. This 10.3 billion rand per SAMWU. Is it not an option to cut costs rather than raise tariffs?
We have done some cost cutting internally already. When we look at our natural attrition value of about 2.5%, we've said we are not going to immediately fill vacancies now. So there's a moratorium on filling those vacancies so that we utilize resources internally in terms of the work that we need to do.
Loyiso Masuku, the MMC of Finance.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
If your local car wash was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 30-year-old Dineo an unbelievable 1,094 Rand on her 2025 Kia Sonet. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS OUT to 45142. That's OUT to 45142. Licensed insurance FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Mzansi, the excitement is building. The 130th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July takes place on Saturday, 4 July. This year's theme, Country Allure, draws from the richness of our land. A celebration of heritage, freedom and style, inspired by our beautiful countryside. It's more than a race. It's where champions are made, stories are written, and greatness is unleashed. World-class horse racing, bold fashion, music, culture, and a day of endless excitement at Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro and release your glamour at the Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Nescafe Gold Instant Coffee, 200 or 220 grams for 149.99. Save 50 Rand. Cadbury Chocolate Slabs, 150 grams, any two for 79 Rand. And Lovey's Ultra Value Pack Disposable Nappies for 149.99 per pack. Valid until 7 June. Only at Checkers.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
"28 minutes to 4, Mbali Dlamini has the very latest news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Mzansi MP Makashule Gana has been elected as the chairperson of the Parliamentary Impeachment Committee. The announcement was made earlier this afternoon during the committee's first meeting. The Impeachment Committee will consider misconduct allegations against President Cyril Ramaphosa related to the theft of US dollars from his Palapala farm. The ANC nominated Gana to that position, with the nomination being seconded by the DA. Gana defeated the United Africans Transformation's Wonderboy Mahlatsi by 19 votes to 12. Gana says it's important that this committee is not chaired by the ANC.
Just for people's trust in the process, that you have someone that's not in the ANC, that is not swayed either in the ANC or any of the parties, whether it's the ANC, the DA. So for me, it was let's get someone that is not from the bigger parties, but I appreciate the support.
The City of Johannesburg has welcomed the lifting of the suspension of its JSE-listed bonds, saying the move signals improved governance. The suspension was formally removed after the city tabled its annual report for the 2024-2025 financial year last week, meeting a key requirement of the JSE's debt listing rules. In March, the city's bonds were suspended after delays in releasing its financial reports following a dispute with the Auditor General. Concerns were raised by National Treasury over the municipality's handling of its finances following salary increases to municipal workers that it cannot afford. The city's Ntatisi Madungwane says this is a step in restoring investor confidence. We do apologize for the error in that audio there. The trial of alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak and 14 others was delayed once again today due to one of the accused being ill. Accused number 3, Ziad Pool, was due to continue with his cross-examination today, but relayed he was not feeling well. Pool, who is alleged to be Modak's middleman, faces numerous charges related to at least 3 murders, including the assassination of anti-drug unit detective Charles Kinnear. Carlo Peterson reports.
Ziad Pool was said to be cross-examined by the state related to the attempted murder of prominent attorney William Booth. Booth survived an attempt on his life at his Zieglervale home in April 2020. It's the state's case Modak paid Pool to orchestrate the attack on Booth using some of the other accused on trial. However, proceedings were delayed today after Pool relayed he was feeling ill. Presiding Judge Robert Henney warned Pool not to unduly delay the matter. Henney granted the postponement for Pool to be medically treated at Paulsmoor Prison's hospital section. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
And in Spain, one of the charges against the brother of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has been dropped. David Sanchez is facing off with the law in an influence peddling trial. Sanchez, a composer and orchestra conductor, is accused of benefiting from the creation of a tailor-made position as coordinator of music in one of the provinces. The role was later transformed into head of the province's performing arts office. The case adds to a growing list of corruption-related proceedings involving figures in Pedro Sanchez's political orbit. His wife, Begona Gomez, is also under investigation in a separate corruption case. A partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees.
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving Sandton heading towards the M1, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Grayston Drive between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. Also in Devlin, traveling towards Eldorado Park, slow-moving traffic. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12.
A top story in EWN this hour. Mzansi's MP Makashule Gana has been elected as the chairperson of the Parliamentary Impeachment Committee.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Just Anzalex it. Do you have a sore throat? Anzalex C oral rinse and spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Anzalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Anzalex it. When choosing a university, facts matter. WITS is ranked #1 in Africa in the 2026 Center for World University Rankings out of more than 21,000 universities worldwide. This ranking uses objective data to assess universities on the academic and employment success of alumni, research quality and impact, as well as major distinctions and awards. No spin, no surveys, no perceptions, just facts. WITS has earned its place in the ranking that matters. WITS, for good. wits.ac.za.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey John, Colin from Pretoria. Kruger is the destination of destinations. We used to go there quite a few times when we were young. Unfortunately, to money constraints at the moment, we haven't been there for a long time. But we were spoiled. The last time we went there, we camped for 5 days. I'm not sure which camp it was, but every single day we saw the big five with a huge pack of wild dog as well. And the one day we were fortunate to get the big five in the morning and in the afternoon trip. But it is such an awesome experience. Everybody has to at least go once in their lifetime up to Kruger. Thanks, bye.
Hi, John. Rod here from Randburg. I've never been to the Kruger Park, and there's a particular reason why. About 50 odd years ago, when I finished my national service, I was lucky enough to get a job as a game ranger at a private game reserve. It was supposed to be a 3-month contract, and it got extended to 6 and then to 12. And we had the luxury of, when we were driving around with guests, being able to leave the road and just go and look at things that were interesting or off the road. And the thought of driving around with closed windows on fixed roads, not being able to leave, kind of doesn't do much for me. I guess I was just spoiled.
Yeah, you don't have to drive with your windows closed, by the way, but yes, you do need to stick to the roads. Your Kruger Park stories, please. And if you've never been or have no interest in going, I'm also interested in hearing about that. 702 Drive, sport in a moment, but this first, the price of fuel is going to go up again in June. But boy, do we have some very good news for you. We are giving away 5,000 Rand right now, and it's in the form of a fuel voucher. We're doing this courtesy of My Way, live your way. And it's an open competition for listeners who are I'm inviting to call us on 072 702 1702 and 011 883. No, just use the first number, 072 702 1702. And I'm asking you a simple question. If you've got a 5,000 Rand fuel voucher, you can put in a fair amount of fuel, even at these prices. So that would allow you to take a trip somewhere, anywhere. Send us a voice note telling us what that trip is and who you'd either be going to see, who's going to be traveling on the trip with you. 072 702 1702. It's 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, very good afternoon to you. Well, we've got a 3-person organizing committee to, I'm not sure what, but arrange the things that weren't arranged for Bafana. I mean, I'm assuming this is serious.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. Hopefully this is going to be the worst that we see, but yeah, SAFA has revealed a 3-member organizing committee which has been established to manage Bafana's administrative affairs during the FIFA World Cup after this visa debacle. The team have since received their visas and will be traveling to the North American showpiece today. They start their World Cup in 10 days' time against the co-host Mexico, but before that, later this week on Thursday, they have a friendly scheduled against Jamaica. Record Premier League appearance holder James Milner announced his playing retirement as he brings an end to a 24-year-long career. His most successful stints saw him win in the English top flight with Man City and Liverpool, as well as the UEFA Champions League with the latter in 2019. While in cricket, the Proteas women in 12 days will be starting their T20 World Cup campaign. They, of course, will be looking to go better than they did in 2024, where they were runners-up. A statement wins Sunday after captain Laura Wolfart, who typically is the anchor of the batting innings, was out early in the event, and Marizan Kapp and Kayla Reinecker both struck 40s as they posted 167 for 7. Shabnim Ismail, who's reversed the decision to come out of retirement for the World Cup, rolled back the years and claimed 4 for 39 as the South Africans bowled the Australians for a 7-run victory. The 37-year-old pacer says there's still a few aspects to tweak.
Yeah, I was happy obviously picking up wickets and getting us to obviously get over the line with a win. Still not happy with certain things that I'll obviously go back in the net and work on, but I mean the way the bowling unit came out, we were confident enough to know that we were going to defend the score, and I mean Australia's a world-class team. They got world-class players in their team, and for us to obviously get the wickets at crucial stages in the game really took the momentum forward for us, and hopefully for the next few training games as well we can continue the momentum.
Switching to tennis, where Anna Kalinskaya became the latest woman through to the Roland Garros quarterfinals after beating Anastasia Potova. In the men's draw, we've seen Flavio Goboli through, while our live on court, Madison Keys is down a set against Diana Schneider and is leading right now in that second set. While in the men's draw, we do have in the next few moments Serundolo up against Berrettini. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 16 to 4, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by GWM, class-leading vehicles that help you navigate your journey. Karabo Charlie has the latest news.
Well, if you are heading into the Joburg CBD coming from the Boysons area, there is an accident seen on the M1 northbound before the Crown interchange, causing heavy delays from Boysons Road. If you are leaving Sandton, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Greyston Drive between Rivonia Road and the M1 in Devland. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Another fuel hike means more adjustments, like using every loyalty point just to get by.
Okay, use the points first, then this voucher. Wait, I have a coupon on my app for the bread. And then I'll swipe the remaining R2, please.
Don't let the fuel hikes restrict you. Get 5,000 Rand for fuel when you buy any GWM vehicle this month. Visit your nearest dealership or go to gwm.co.za to book a test drive. T's and C's apply. GWM. Go with more.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents the Winter Symphony season, featuring performances by international artists and well-loved South African musicians. Programs include masterpieces by Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Mendelssohn, and more. The season runs from 4 June until 25 June, every Thursday evening at the Linda Auditorium at 7:30 p.m. These superb concerts are not to be missed. Season and single concert tickets available through Cricket or jpo.co.za.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Mzansi, Take-A-Lot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks A Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take-A-Lot Thanks A Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So, Anthony Teixeira, 100 years since the Kruger Park was founded, 31st of May, yesterday. In other words, Kruger Park was proclaimed, and it's been going for all this time. Is that a place you went to as a kid, go to now? Is it part of your life? We're just asking people either for their Kruger stories or their stories about how they never want to go.
Yeah, I went as a teenager, and it was sort of seeing the stars for the first time sort of blew my mind.
Yeah.
People had told me about it, and I never really understood what the appeal would be until I saw the stars. And that was probably the most exciting thing that I saw. Like, the animals were great, and we saw elephant. We did see the big five, and that was fantastic. But I don't understand the appeal of the wilderness, to be honest with you, John. I had frogs that were in my shoes several days in a row, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So basically, stars great. Everything else, I don't think I'd go back.
There is one good thing about frogs in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They keep out the scorpions. So, I mean, there is an upside.
Thanks, John.
Always look for the positives if you possibly can. 12 minutes to 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey, John. Thank you for a great show. So it would have to be my bestie, Faye. We are crazy about wildlife. She actually has her channel on DSTV with wildlife on 24/7. And it has been so long since she's been able to afford a holiday that it would be she and I and our road trip with our favorite 80s songs. So it would be Faye, my best friend. And thank you for a great show.
So Amina is the person who sent us that note. She's on the line now. So Amina, if you won the 5,000 Rand, courtesy of My Way, Live Your Way, you would go somewhere to look at wild animals and you'd get out your 80s playlist. So what would be the first song on the playlist?
Oh, my word. That's quite a question, John. Hi, everybody, and thank you for a great show. It's got to be Annie's Song by John Denver. Yeah.
Okay, so you're setting off with Annie's Song by John Denver. Where are you headed?
To the Kruger Park. Where else?
Well, no. I mean, there's beautiful parks and all sorts of wild spaces. So, you know what, Amina? Just get your playlist organized, speak to your bestie, pick a date, make a booking, because courtesy of My Way, Live Your Way, you are going to be living your very best way with 5,000 Rand to spend on fuel.
Wow.
I hope you have a fabulous time. Send us pictures if you see some good things. Amina is the first winner today. We're going to be doing exactly the same thing between 4 and 5, and we are going to be doing exactly the same thing between 5 and 6. And you know what? We're going to be doing this all week, courtesy of My Way, Live Your Way.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
It really shocks me that only now they are appointing this team that's going to be dealing with logistics. I would have thought this is a team you establish in the beginning. Once you know that we qualify, and they're doing this now reactively.
It's an unfortunate statement that they've released now to say that they have appointed a team. So it shows that they've just been working haphazardly and not being coordinated. Hence, last minute, then they realized, thought we didn't apply for other players' visas. But if they had systems and they were communicating internally, the first thing that they could have done was to apply for all the players, 36 of them or 30 of them, because they knew that out of these 36, we want 26.
Peace Mabe, Sports, Arts and Culture Deputy Minister.
Clements Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
Whenever she fell or got hurt, a kiss always took the pain away. Honey and hugs helped at first when the coughing started. It's just a cold. Keep her warm and she'll be fine, we thought. I wish I could kiss RSV away too. Respiratory syncytial virus is a contagious virus that can lead to serious illnesses, including lung infections. Fortunately, protection for infants against RSV is now available in South Africa. Ask your healthcare provider about keeping your baby protected during their first RSV season.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Still to come on 702 Drive after 4 o'clock, a really quite alarming story in business today. Kabelo Kumalo, their business editor, a company's editor, I think is his correct title. I'll sort that out later. But what they did was an investigation into the growing crisis of illegal number plates. We'll talk to Jan de Lange, president of the License Plate Association of South Africa. After 5, we'll have a conversation with the man who will chair that Section 89 impeachment inquiry down in Parliament. Makashule, Gana, MP from Rise Mzansi, is our guest at 20 past 5. It's 7 minutes to 4.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Well, today is World Milk Day, and to celebrate, we're talking to Nestlé about various aspects prompted by this commemorative day. We're joined in the studio by Zakiti Mwango, who is Nestlé Category Marketing Manager at Nestlé ESAR. Zakiti, welcome. It's great to have you with us on the show. So much has changed since I was a kid, where you kind of had milk, and if you didn't have milk, well, you had milk. There are so many other products, so many other choices. Why is milk still considered an incredibly important food group, especially for kids of school-going age? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and to your listeners. Look, I think milk has stood the test of time as a nutritional cornerstone. And the science tells us exactly why. For children between the ages of 7 to 14, it's a period of rapid physical growth where the body is building bones, developing muscles, and strengthening immunity simultaneously.
Right.
So I think what makes milk really exceptional is that it delivers all of this in a single source. So Nestlé in particular is specifically formulated for this age group, providing those essential vitamins A, C, D alongside iron and zinc. And these nutrients are clinically recognized as critical during these developmental years. So it's not just about filling a child's stomach, it's about giving their growing bodies exactly the right building blocks at the right time.
So, I mean, you talk about the various ingredients. I mean, what are some of those key nutrients?
Sure. Milk is genuinely considered one of nature's most complete packages. I think that's why we're proud to commit to South African families as Nestlé that we can do that considerable nutritional work in one glass only, because milk is packed with calcium and vitamin D, which work together. Calcium, we know, builds bone density and grows strong teeth, while vitamin D is the key that unlocks calcium absorption. Without adequate vitamin D, calcium simply just passes through the body unused. And vitamin A, it supports immune defense and healthy vision. So iron is also essential for cognitive function and energy. And in South Africa in particular, John, where we know iron deficiency remains a concern, that matters enormously. So we're proud to make the commitment around these key nutrients and the role that Nestlé plays in delivering.
we know cows are involved, but there are many, many other steps between farm and shelf, and from the shelf, obviously, to the home and into families. I mean, there's a lot of safety involved, I'm sure, looking at the integrity of the product. I mean, how does Nespresso go about ensuring that that chain is as safe and secure as it should be?
Sure, John. Look, I'm sure you've heard about farm to table. What we really like to position is something called farm to glass.
Mhm.
So the Nespresso story actually starts in the Western Cape in a dairy farm just outside George called Skimmelkrans.
Okay.
And that farm supplies fresh milk directly to our Mossel Bay factory, which is really the beating heart of Mossel Bay. It's a highly managed, rigorous operation, and the farmers really focus on 4 pillars, and that's animal welfare, precise nutrition for the herd, strict hygiene protocols, and responsible farm management. So for us, really that controlled process from Skimmelkrans to Mossel Bay, where temperature-controlled collection is ensured. And it's as our agricultural services manager, Jean Higgs, always puts it, we source locally, which means that as the milk arrives at our Mossel Bay factory, we guarantee freshness, and it's why we are able to claim the complete nutritional source as Nespresso.
I mean, one of the things you hinted at, Zakiti, is the way the farmers actually go about their business. And sustainability is a huge issue around energy, around natural resources. We're looking at a particularly hot El Nino coming up. How do the farmers in your network actually start considering things like more responsible farming, more sustainable production practices, and so on?
John, farmers are the backbone of our food system. It's not a platitude. I mean, for us, it's a structural reality. Without them, we face food insecurity at scale. And so what this World Milk Day allowed us to do is shine a genuine spotlight on the extraordinary work that these farming partners in the Eastern and Western Cape are doing. Dairy production, as you mentioned, has carried a significantly high carbon footprint, and that's well documented. But our partner farms like Skimmelkrans, Rooijuwel, Oakdale Agricultural, and Grasslands Agricultural are actively implementing low carbon practices that allow us to optimize and reduce emissions and enhance our biodiversity without compromising our production quality. It's farmers making real operational changes for us because they understand that the land they farm today is the land that children will inherit in the future, and that impact extends well beyond our environment. So our Mossel Bay farms and factory support, by extension, around 13,000 people. For us, responsible farming is not only about protecting natural resources, it's about sustaining the communities and the livelihoods that depend on this thriving dairy sector.
Well, fascinating stuff. Thank you very much. Zakiti Mwango is a Nespresso category marketing manager at Nestle ESAR. And this In Conversation was brought to you by Nestle Nespresso, always giving more. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, John.
So, still to come on 702 Drive, I mentioned to you that Makashule Gana will be joining us after 5. Also after 5 o'clock. Very, very interesting piece. Well, in fact, it was a speech given by Busi Mavuso of Business Leadership South Africa, Business Unity South Africa, actually. And she was talking about the extent to which it may not be a good thing that business is constantly stepping in to help government out, fixing potholes, helping to fix up, this is going back a little while now, helping to fix up the Charlotte Matleke Hospital after all the damage was done there. Yes, it means things get fixed, but are we weakening government in the process? Busi Mavuso joining us on 702 Drive. That's coming up after 4 o'clock. Still looking forward to your stories about the Kruger Park, and if you have a view on, whether people who never use the park should actually be paying with it through their taxes, well, let's hear from you as well. 702 Drive, it's 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Makashule Gana says he wants the truth out of the Palapala saga and one charge dropped against Spain's tainted brother. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Newly elected chairperson of Parliament's Impeachment Committee, Makashule Gana, says his focus will be to get the truth out of the Phala saga. This afternoon, the ANC pulled a surprise move by nominating Gana, a Mzansi MP, to head the committee. The impeachment committee will consider misconduct allegations against President Cyril Ramaphosa related to the theft of US dollars from his Phala farm. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Despite attempts by Parliament's Progressive Caucus comprising the MKP, the EFF, ATM and UAT to rally other parties to support an alternative candidate to the ANC, it fell short on votes to back the UAT's Wonderboy Mkhatse. Instead, the ANC jumped the gun of its GNU partners by nominating an alternative candidate.
My name is Makashule, deployed by the African National Congress. I stand to nominate the name of Honorable Makashule Gana.
Rise Mzansi's Makashule Gana was seconded by the DA's George Mikalakis, a party he once represented in the 5th Parliament. Gana says his first order of business will be to set up the structure that will facilitate the inquiry.
Things that are outside of Parliament that might play themselves out in the courts, I don't have a response to them. I'm focused on the work of Parliament. I'm a parliamentarian, and that work is going to proceed without delay.
Gana says the preparatory work of Parliament must continue unless there's a legal impediment preventing it from doing so. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The DA believes the city of Ekurhuleni has become the epicenter of tender corruption, with a significant number of heads of departments under the spotlight. Several Ekurhuleni senior officials have recently been named at the Madlanga Commission, while some have been arrested for fraud. Among them is City Manager Kagiso Lerutla and EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. The party now has opened a corruption case against former City Manager Imogen Mashazi for allegedly violating procurement processes. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
EMPD Chief Isaac Mapieye has recently faced allegations of sexual misconduct, while his deputy Julius Mkhwanazi was named at the Madlanga Commission for alleged links to criminal elements. The city's head of IC, Timulo Komnyapao, is on suspension over alleged negligence related to a billing scandal that resulted in a 2 billion rand loss in revenue. Meanwhile, current city manager Kagiso Lerutla was recently arrested on fraud charges, while his predecessor Imogen Mashazi faces corruption allegations. DA Ekurhuleni mayoral candidate Katuchero Rasilingwane says the city of Ekurhuleni is on its knees.
You mentioned all of them. Almost 50% of the HODs are currently going through some sort of corruption allegation, or they suspended because of one reason and the other.
The DA opened a corruption case against Mashazi today following reports that she failed to declare a 3.5 million rand private flight to London for shopping. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Germiston.
Hawks officer Carl Sander has testified about his difficult relationship with his boss, KZN head of the Hawks, Lisija Sinona. Sander says Sinona pushed him out of the narcotics division on trumped-up corruption charges and subjected him to 2 polygraph tests, including one for stealing a coffee machine. Sander has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria today. His testimony forms part of the Commission's probe into the large consignment of cocaine that was stolen in November 2021 from a Hawks storage facility in Port Shepstone. Following the theft, Sander says Sinona treated him like a suspect, despite him not being based at the Port Shepstone office and having no knowledge of the drugs.
I was on leave, came back to work. It was all over social media that the stuff had been stolen. Got back to the office. Our senior managers came into the office one day, said what they needed to say, and then we were told that we are all suspects. Obviously, I did not agree with that, and then we were sent for polygraphs.
Sander also testified about another incident where Sinona ordered him to take a polygraph test for a missing coffee machine.
My only safe space was my coffee machine, and then they stole my coffee machine inside the DPCR. Sorry, I'm laughing about it. It's still so annoying, and I had to get polygraphed because of the theft of my own coffee machine.
Who asked you to be polygraphed for the theft of your own coffee machine?
General Sonona.
The City of Johannesburg has welcomed the lifting of the suspension of its JSE-listed bonds, saying the move signals improved governance. The suspension was formally removed after the city tabled its annual report for the 2024-2025 financial year last week. In March this year, the city's bonds were suspended after delays in releasing its financial reports following a dispute with the Auditor General. Concerns were then raised by National Treasury over the municipality's handling of its finances following salary increases to municipal workers. The city's Ntatisi Mudingwane says this is a step in restoring investor confidence.
It signals to rating agencies, investors, and residents that the city of Johannesburg is stabilizing governance, strengthening financial reporting, accountability, and sound public finance management. This is the step forward in restoring investor confidence and market credibility.
And in Spain, one of the charges against the brother of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has been dropped. David Sanchez is facing off with the law in an influence peddling trial. Sanchez, a composer and orchestra conductor, is accused of benefiting from the creation of a tailor-made position as coordinator of music in one of the provinces. The role was later transformed to the head of the province's Performing Arts Office. The case adds to a growing list of corruption-related proceedings involving figures in Pedro Sanchez's political orbit. His wife, Begona Gomez, is also under investigation in a separate corruption case. Gold is trading at $4,506.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.24 to the dollar, 21.87 to the pound, 18.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $93.98 a barrel.
Heading towards the Joburg CBD, there's an accident scene. This is in the Boysens area on the M1 northbound before the Crown Exchange, causing more than a 30-minute delay all the way from Boysens Road. If you are traveling through the Joburg CBD heading towards the south, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange.
And in sport, SAFA establishes admin committee for Bafana's World Cup campaign after visa debacle. Ishmael doesn't miss a step after coming out of retirement for the Proteas women. And Roland Garros quarters for Koboli and Kalinskaya.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 7 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 6 and 20, and Vereeniging 5 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, newly elected chairperson of Parliament's impeachment committee, Makashule Gana, says his focus will be to get to the truth of the Phala saga.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Good to have you with us on this Monday in June. Brand new month, brand new week. We've got some music for you coming up a little bit later in the show. The question we're asking you about the music today is, because it's a brand new month and we played you a wonderful song a little bit earlier that has a month in it. We played September by Earth, Wind and Fire. Give us your favorite song with a month of the year that's in the title. Send it please to 072 702 1702. You can also use that number to comment on any of the news stories of the day, but one of the things we're asking you about is Kruger Park. Marked its centenary yesterday. Kruger Park memories, if you want to share them. Maybe you went there and were bored out of your skull. It happens. I know people who will say, been once, never again. Whatever it is you want to say about a place, I'll just have to say I consider it to be one of the most remarkable on the planet, but that's me. Maybe it's not your thing. Drop us a note on that. The number again, 072 702 1702. Couple of stories coming up over the next 20 minutes. Tabiso Gobe is at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Once again, the focus is on the way in which the South African Police Service deals with or doesn't with drug trafficking and seizures of large consignments of drugs destined to make some people money and wreck the lives of many, many more. That's the focus of Madlanga today. Tabiso right on top of that. He's with us in about 12 minutes' time. Before that, we'll look at another area of law enforcement, an excellent investigation done by Kabelo Kumalo at Business Day about how easy it is to actually go out and get an illegal number plate, even if it isn't for your own car. I suppose that's what makes it illegal, isn't it? All that and more coming up on 702 Drive. It's 11 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hello, John and Tim, 702 Lenders. My first trip to the Kruger 2025. And there at the entrance, I spoke to the ranger and said, Chief, this is my first time here. I was with my daughters. One was 15, or 15 and 12. So now the guy gave us a tip to say, no, everybody is resting here in the park. The only people you must be careful of are the elephants. And what you must do when you see them, and just stop and reverse and let them do whatever they want to do, and then otherwise go in and enjoy it. So now, John, behind this massive tree, a massive elephant just came out behind that tree as we were driving in. And my daughters just went, Daddy, reverse! Simultaneously, way. That's when I realized they listened to that ranger very, very carefully. We'll love to do it again, though. Good day, sir.
Hi, Tate John. Karabo speaking here. Good day to all the listeners. Me and my wife go to the Kruger quite often, probably 4 to 5 times a year. I grew up in the northern parts of the country in a small town called Gana. So my granddad used to take us to the Kruger for day visit very often, including on Christmas days and New Year's Eve and things like that. My wife is from Nelspruit, so she was accustomed to doing day visits in the Kruger as well. But when we met, basically the Kruger became our favorite place to go to, and we loved it so much. We've even started a YouTube channel where we document our trips, and so basically that's our favorite place to go to. In fact, like, we go to the Kruger almost all the time. As we speak, I've got a trip in 2 days' time. I'm going to be spending 7 nights in Skukuza camping, and we camp a lot. So yeah, it's our favorite place.
Yeah, thank you. And for that last message, before you reverse, send us the address of the YouTube channel so we can go and take a look. I'd love to check it out. 4 or 5 times, 7 days in Skukuza camping. Yeah, and as I said, if Kruger's not for you, or if you've never been, is it lack of opportunity, lack of interest? Call us on 072 702 1702. 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the latest from Karabochali, and in the Joburg CBD, things are tight.
Yeah, that's if you are heading towards the Boysens area. There's bumper traffic on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange. Also, if you are heading into the Joburg CBD, that's coming from the Boysens, the south area. There's also bumper traffic on the M1 northbound before the Crown Interchange. This is due to an accident scene. This is heading towards Boysens Road, so please avoid that route if you are traveling between Boysens Road and the Crown Interchange at this stage. There's also slow-moving traffic in Alex on the N3 southbound between the Patlu Interchange and Van Buren. In Eden Devland, there's also slow-moving traffic on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 50
was, as per my last email, too passive-aggressive.
Oh, the torture. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, 4:15. So I've been referring to a piece that has appeared in Business Day. Deputy Editor Kabelo Kumalo, my apologies for giving him the wrong title earlier, but the piece in business days, really very strong indeed. They're saying that you could just simply go into, and they went to 3 different operators, and all you need to do is write down a license plate number, and 20 minutes later, you can walk out with one. And they try to get the people to comment who run these places without much success. But it really has opened my eyes. I had no idea that the problem was on this scale. Somebody who has been aware of the scale of the problem and has been trying to do something about it is my next guest. Jan de Lange is president of the License Plate Association of South Africa. Mr. de Lange, welcome and thanks very much for your time. You put out a statement and you say you have been warning government departments, law enforcement and industry stakeholders over and over again that this is a growing problem. Have they paid any attention to you at all? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, it's been a very rocky road. I've been in the industry for a long time, and I've been complaining about this conduct for many years with the Department of Transport, SABS, the DTIC, well, almost just any body that you can think of, because I've been in the industry for many years, and this conduct is just ongoing, and nobody seems to care.
So one of the things you talk about, you refer to, and I'm going to read this verbatim, you've raised the issue about and here's the quote, unlawful manufacture and sale of number plates, blank plates, and embossing equipment to unregistered operators. It sounds like the problem goes further back than just, the operation of these particular companies that Kabelo was highlighting, but the actual tools for producing these license plates, be they the blanks or the machinery, that itself ought to be closely regulated. You seem to be saying it's not.
That is absolutely correct, yes. Embossers, registered embossers, we are the people that's SABS registered, and we work according to guidelines, and we have to obviously pay fees to the SABS, and we have to have registers, and we get audited every twice a year, but you get this unregistered embossers that are being supplied by the manufacturers in this industry with the equipment and with the blank number plates, and they just supply it to unregistered embossers, and that's where the criminality starts because it's not regulated. They just supply it to any person out there.
Mr. de Lange, if the system worked properly, how would it work? How should it work?
Well, it's actually very easy because it's in the SABS legislation. When you are a manufacturer, you are only supposed to sell number plates and equipment to SABS registered embossers. But that's not what's happening. So there's no enforcement. These manufacturers are just simply supplying an illegal trade, and that's how they make more revenue, just by selling more blanks and giving out more machines to every person out there without being caught.
If somebody simply on the strength of, I walk into a place, and this is clearly what Kabelo has done, he simply writes down a registration number and walks out with a plate. Is the supplying of that without, for example, checking on, documentation, checking on ID numbers and so on, is that a criminal offense?
Well, it should be. That is fraud.
Yes.
Because you look at it at common fraud. So you are supposed to have a register. Embossers that have a SABS registration number, we pay annual fees that's in excess of 40,000 Rand a year.
Right.
So we have to keep registers. So if you get a customer that wants you need to make a copy of his ID. He needs to the papers of the vehicle, everything. You have to keep a register for that. But the illegal operators, they don't even have a register. Why would they need a register? They're just selling the plates to make money. It's like selling bread on the corner of the street for them. So it's not. There's a lot of rules, but there's zero enforcement.
I mean, if there was any will to do this, if you just take, for example, Tshwane Metro or Joburg Metro, I don't know if it's a Metro issue or a SAPS issue, but you could go around to all of these. You would have a copy of the register of who's allowed, officially allowed to do this in the city of Tshwane. Everybody else, presumably, you could be within your rights as an authority to just simply close them down and put a padlock on the door.
That's absolutely correct. And I mean, it's actually so easy because every embosser legally registered, also visible on the SABS website, and that is in the public domain. So the law enforcement does have access, so does anybody on the street, have access to that information of all the legal embossers. But it seems like every time you want to refer a certain that's operating illegal, everybody pulls up their shoulders and say, well, this is not our division.
Yeah, so it's falling through the cracks. Thank you very much, Jan de Lange, President of the License Plate Association of South Africa. Yeah, and of course the implications are massive. I mean, for traffic enforcement, for crime scene investigation, and potentially for you and me if someone clones our plates and either robs a bank or decides to go through red lights at high speed, that could come back to us as a fine. So the consequences are huge. The action to deal with it appears to be negligible. 22 minutes past 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention now on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where Thabiso Goba, EWN reporter, has been keeping a close eye. Once again, the way in which the police deal with drugs is very much front and center. And he's the person in giving witness today is a man with considerable experience in this. So who is he and what has he been saying? Thabiso Goba joining us now on the line. Thabiso, good afternoon to you. A warrant officer with quite a story to tell, I believe, today.
Good afternoon, John. Yes, Warrant Officer Mr. Carl Sander. He's been working with the SAPS for over 40 years, John. Goes to question how he's still a warrant officer. But that is something that he's touched on in terms of how difficult his relationship has been with the current head of the Hawks in KZN, Mr. Leseja Sinona. Now, we know that Sinona has been implicated in a number of impropriety at the Madlanga Commission. But what the Madlanga Commission will be focusing on for today and until the rest of the week is that shipment that was stolen of confiscated drugs that were stolen in Port Shepstone at a KZN Hawks facility. Around 541 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of 200 million rand was stolen from a Hawks facility. And what we've heard from the Madlanga Commission is that there may have been some police corruption or a number of irregularities that led to that cocaine being stolen from a police facility. Now, what Mr. Carl Sander has been testifying about, John, he continues his testimony tomorrow, and while he wasn't necessarily involved in the drug bust or in the theft of the cocaine, he has been commenting just around the issues of protocols when it comes to drug bust, the storing of drugs, and how to handle those situations. As we said, John, he used to work for the South African Narcotics Enforcement Bureau. This is a very high-level bureau within the Hawks that is tasked with the mandate of dismantling and investigating large-scale construction, large-scale drug syndicates.
Right.
So he's worked there for a number of years until he said he was pushed out by Leseja Sinona on trumped-up charges. But he has been speaking around how the issues of storing drugs is a major factor within SAPS, also within the police, saying that, some of these drugs can make people sick, and that a lot of these storage facilities within SAPS, but also within the Hawks, they do not have enough capacity to store some of these drugs. He talked a lot, John, about how there has been instances when officers got sick because where the drugs were being stored, it was not a proper facility. And he also talked about the Isipingo storage facility, which was very important in this story, John, because the drug consignment that was stolen by the Hawks was intercepted by police in June 2021. It was intercepted in Isipingo. And ideally, it was supposed to be stored there in Isipingo, but there had been an incident where police got sick and where police in Isipingo got sick while they were storing another consignment of drugs. So then that led to the drugs being stored at the Port Shepstone facility at the Hawks, which we've heard again from a number of witnesses who've testified at the Madlanga Commission that the Hawks facility at the Port Shepstone was not an ideal place to store the drugs in. So that's how it came about that they were stored there at Port Shepstone. Now, there was a question to Mr. Carl Sander around the storage of drugs and how it's a major problem within the SAPS and also the Hawks. And this is what he had to say regarding that matter.
Does the SAPS have suitable storage facilities for a drug such as methylcolone, I think that's what you call it, that would avoid the effect in paragraph 5?
Commissioner, if I answer this question honestly, I'll get fired today. I will say no. The correct place where to store it would be something like Pretoria Forensic Science Laboratory. I'm not going to mention the other locations. I know the name of Pretoria has been mentioned. I myself have been deep into the big vault. I've been there. I've seen it. It's chaos. It's chaos. The problem is working in that chaos is exactly the question that the Commissioner is asking now is, do the people that work there be exposed to hazards? The answer is yes. The correct and only safe procedure to work inside there would be full PPE.
Yeah, real harrowing details about the health hazards, never mind the risks to policing and law enforcement of the way in which these big drug stashes, big drug halls are currently stored. Thank you, Tabiso Goba. That clip reflecting some of the views of the witness today, Warrant Officer Carl Sander. Tabiso covering the Madlanga Commission for us this week. 27 minutes past 4.
You're with John Perlman
on 702. EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Start of a new week and a new month. How's it been looking so far?
Good afternoon, John. Things were quite positive for a little while. The JSE hasn't really been up at all during the day. It was down just a little bit, partly because Brent crude was sort of around $92 a barrel at one point. But unfortunately, Iran saying it's now attacked a U.S. airbase, Kuwait saying it had come under attack. So oil rising quite sharply in the last little while, and that's had a bit of an impact, I think. The JSE all share down 1.6%, 112,781. Financials down 1.5%. Resources down 0.72. And industrials down 0.72. And then resources really much weaker, down over 3% on the day. Pan-African resources, they're actually down 13%, despite saying today that they've been able to increase their gold production by around 40% in the last period. It produced a record amount of gold, obviously to take advantage of higher gold prices. The group also saying it had measures in place to deal with the fallout from the situation around Iran. But yeah, so that's quite damaging to them. Also, we see today AECI is down 4.5%. And some of the other gold miners are down very strongly. I mean, DRD Gold, Harmony are down very strongly. Box are down 3% as well today. And Netcare down 3% too. John, the kind of update that makes my children pay a little bit more attention to my business bulletins, Beacon Chocolates is being sold. I mean, who would sell a chocolate factory? Are you mad? Tiger Brands are selling Beacon Chocolates, but they're very sensible. They're keeping the jelly tots. They're keeping the Nosh bar, not my favorite. They're keeping the TV bar. Who would give up a TV bar? Obviously. They're keeping the sort of jungle bar, the jungle oats thing. They've done very well out of that. They're keeping one or two others as well. The Black Cat chocolate bar. I would sell that. Anyway, they're selling that. Their headline earnings from total operations, they were up 6.5% in the 6 months to the end of March. At higher volumes, but there was deflation during the period too. And the Momentum Insurance Group, their headline earnings per share for the 9 months to the end of March this year, they're up 20%. New business premiums are up 15%. Metropolitan Life reported a positive mortality experience. There's part of me that doesn't really want to know what that is. Sounds okay, I suppose.
There is such a thing as dying well.
Yes. I think what they mean is that very few people died because they had jelly tots, you see. I mean, who's going to die when their jelly tots are around? The investment arm had strong earnings from positive stock market activity. Momentum Insure saw a 9% increase in short-term insurance. ASB Isotopes is up nearly 5.5%. Tungela is up 5%. Sasol's up 4 on stronger oil prices, Exara 2, and then Tiger Brands after their update today, they're up 1.6, and Telkom, they've got results out tomorrow. We expect them to be quite strong. They're up 1%. In the US, the Wall Street again near record levels. AI optimism. There's still concerns about the war, so the sort of slightly strange mixed picture we've been seeing. The Dow Jones down 0.19. The Nasdaq is flat. S&P 500 is also flat. The gold price at the moment, $4,456.56 an ounce. Platinum, $1,916.88. Brent crude creeping up, John, $96.98. And the rand to the dollar, 16.34 to the euro, 18.98 to the British pound, 21.93. Feel like a snack. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. No snacks, but we do have news headlines. Here's Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The Electoral Commission says it's still expecting more clarity on a 30 million rand donation to Rise Mzansi that was converted from a loan originally. The Commission says it will be engaging with the party about the donation to ensure whether or not it's in compliance with the Political Funding Act. The IEC has also noted how the ANC has cleared 2 late donations amounting to just more than 10 million rand. Babalondenze has more.
Latest donations to political parties have been published by the IEC, which lists only 5 political parties who've declared. The latest report covers the period from the 1st of January to the 31st of March this year. Among the parties to declare the biggest donation is the DA, which received 57 million rand, followed by Rise Mzansi, declaring exactly 30 million rand. But the IEC says the 30 million rand declaration made by Rise Mzansi represents a conversion of a previous loan into a donation. The Commission says the terms of the conversion are still to be clarified by the Commission. It says, consequently, the Electoral Commission will further engage with the party on this loan donation conversion to ascertain compliance with the requirements of the Act. The IEC says while many of the donations declared in the report predate the formal announcement of the 2026 local government elections, it says the size and magnitude of the declarations demonstrate that the election season is firmly underway. Baba Londanza, Eyewitness News.
The DA has welcomed its former MP, Liam Jacobs, back to the party. He ditched the DA to join the Patriotic Alliance last year. Jacobs' dramatic return to the DA was announced by the party's federal leader, Jordan Hill-Lewis, on social media earlier today. Hill-Lewis says his return to the DA signifies the kind of party that they are building.
Liam's return to the DA is a reflection of the kind of party we want to build. A big, growing and inclusive political home for all South Africans who want our country to work.
He says Jacobs left the PA because he saw firsthand that the Patriotic Alliance never delivers on its promises.
People sometimes take the wrong road. What matters is whether they are willing to correct course and recommit themselves to the work of building a better South Africa.
While in Japan, the tourist hub of Shibuya has put new regulations in place to curb the growing trend of littering. From today, litterbugs face an on-the-spot fine of 2,000 Japanese yen, which is just over 200 rand if they are caught. In certain districts, authorities are also handing out fines for food and beverage shop operators who do not install waste bins. According to local media, there's been an increasing number of people who are openly drinking and littering around Shibuya. Authorities say up to 50 officials will now be deployed to patrol neighborhoods as well as impose the fines. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 7 degrees and highs of between 18 and 21.
Heading into the Joburg CBD, accident seen in Boyson's M1 North before the Crown Exchange, causing more than an hour delay all the way from Boyson's Road. To avoid that route at all costs, rather use Kliprefir Drive or use Crownwood Road as an alternative. Hopefully that will save you some time. And there's also slow-moving traffic in the Alex area heading towards Germiston on the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and Van Buren.
The top story in EWN, the Electoral Commission says it's still expecting more clarity on a 30 million rand donation to Rise Mzansi that was converted from a loan originally.
The Midday Report. Weekdays, 12 to 1.
The MMC of Finance in the city of Joburg announcing some sharp tariff hikes in the new 97 billion rand budget. This 10.3 billion rand per SAMWO. Is it not an option to cut costs rather than raise tariffs.
We have done some cost cutting internally already. When we look at our natural attrition, Nandy, of about 2.5%, we've said we are not going to immediately fill vacancies now. So there's a moratorium on filling those vacancies so that we utilize resources internally in terms of the work that we need to do.
Loyiso Masuku, the MMC of Finance.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
We could tell you we're the best bank in Africa, but if you're a CEO or CFO looking to scale, you'll want the numbers. Like that 350 of Africa's corporates bank with us, that 80% of its billion-dollar corporates trust us with their business, and that our systems process 300 million rand a minute. That's 430 billion rand every day. Grow with the bank that does big numbers. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
As winter settles across South Africa, more families are struggling to maintain food security. Rising fuel costs and high food prices are placing enormous pressure on vulnerable households. Food Forward SA needs your help. Every contribution you make helps provide meals to communities facing hunger and hardship this winter. At just 47 cents a meal, your 50 Rand donation can provide 100 meals. Visit foodforwardsa.org, click donate, and make your contribution today.
Mama Million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. There you'd be on the couch with your 6 numbers. But 7 is for heaven, or yes. But 4 is for the door, or yes. But 38 is never too late, or yes. Well, the Lotto Live draws are back. Every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Catch the first draw this Tuesday at 9 p.m. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday, 26 July. Babize Bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 8-kilometer 44 Main Street route takes you from Ellis Park through Maboneng and Jewel City past the Field of Dreams and the Maharishi Invincibility Institute. You then go through the Main Street precinct, Gandhi Square, and past the Carlton Centre, finishing off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 8K, 5K or 15-kilometer route, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Lerato here from Boxburg. Oh my God. I did not grow up going to the Kruger. I went as an adult. And because a friend of mine or a relative was working there, she still is. Oh my God. I fell in love with the Kruger. Till today, that was about 18 years ago or so. Till today, I don't eat meat. I'm vegetarian after being exposed to the Kruger. So yeah, it inspired me. It also inspired me to be, after having all my qualifications, to study tourism because of the Kruger. I love the Kruger.
Hi, John. Sanjay speaking. Yeah. The first time I went, I was really boring because I hardly saw anything. And, you pay quite a bit to go into the park. But I went with my own private car. And I suppose I didn't know where to go. I didn't know all the hot spots. The second time I was enticed or phoned or asked to go with some friends. I went with a tour company. And yeah, what an amazing difference. But it was quite pricey. I don't know why they make it so difficult for us locals to go, but that's life. Everyone's got to make money. So, yeah. Thanks for a nice show. See you. Bye.
Good afternoon, John. So my family and I went on a holiday to the Kruger National Park for about 10 days last year in June, actually. And it was really one of the best experiences of my life. I hadn't been there since I was a child. So it was really cool to go there. It was the first time for my son to also see the Kruger National Park. And we saw all the animals that you can imagine. We saw cheetahs, lions, elephants. But it was also just so beautiful, so well maintained. We stayed at 3 different camps within the Kruger National Park, and the experience was really remarkable. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful voice notes. Boy, 10 days. I mean, I've been to Kruger a lot, but the longest I've ever spent, I think, is 7. 10 days. I'm envious, but also delighted. Yeah, great to hear so many people have gone. Lots and lots of positive experiences. Still interested to hear from people who haven't gone, either lack of interest, lack of opportunity, but we'll pick up on this theme as well. We've got some ideas bubbling away a little bit about how we might pursue this going forward. Now, of course, for many people, traveling is a thing you've got to consider very, very carefully at the moment. We are going to get another fuel price increase in June. The good news for those of us who drive diesel vehicles is that diesel is coming down, but the overall picture is poor and petrol is going up. We don't have a date on that, but it's coming up pretty soon. So the increase is headed your way. But I have some great news for you. Thanks to MyWay, we are able to offer one of you 5,000 Rand, a 5,000 Rand fuel voucher. Now, think of the trip you could take with that kind of fuel in your tank. Think about it and then send me a WhatsApp on 072 702 1702. Where would you go? Who would you go with? What would you be hoping to either experience or see? 5,000 Rand fuel voucher up for grabs, courtesy of MyWay. MyWay, live your way, and tell us how you would live your way a little bit more with that fuel voucher in your pocket and your tank nice and full with enough money to get you back from wherever you're going. My question again, where would you go? Who would you go with? And what would you do once you were there? Send that please to 072 702 1702. That's for WhatsApps. Voice or text, take your pick. We'll pick a winner a little bit later in the show.
EWN Sport.
At 18 minutes to 5, Anthony Teixeira, you can win all the tournaments you like as the Blitz books, but when it comes to pick the player of the year, just one of us in the hat.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's right, John. Tristan Lade's the sole member of that all-conquering Blitzbox 7 squad, who, of course, won the series at the start of the season. He's been nominated for Sevens Men's Player of the Year and goes up against Australia's Henry Hutchinson and Fiji's Vuavawa Naduvolo for the men's award, with the winners set to be announced this weekend after the Bordeaux Sevens conclusion. The South Africans will be heading into that final tournament of the World Championship atop of that table. They finished second this past weekend in Valladolid and now are 4 points clear of Argentina and 8 ahead of Australia, who beat them in that final. For the Stormers, they may have injury concerns when it comes to Sasha Feinberg and Ngomezulu and Siabelo Sanatla to contend with, but they do have a boost elsewhere in their squad. Dan Duplessis and Ruben van Heerden have both been reporting for duty on Monday's training ahead of travelling to Ireland to meet Leinster in the URC semi-finals. Here's Stormers forward coach Rito Hlongwane.
Ruben is traveling. Dan is also traveling. Siabelo, unfortunately, is not looking good. They said that concussion. Ankle injury, things is in the small, so he'll be out for a while.
Reports are William Saliba is in a race to be fit for France's FIFA World Cup campaign. The defender has been struggling with an ankle problem in the last few months of the season, which seems to have worsened after playing 120 minutes in Arsenal's UEFA Champions League final defeat to PSG Saturday. As a result, he could be sidelined for several weeks and only available after the group games, meaning Didier Deschamps will need to rethink the 2018 winners' centre-back pairing against Senegal, Iran and Norway. Well, Kaizer Chiefs have reportedly made a decision on their next head coach and will announce him officially in the coming days. Rumour is it's a familiar face, Fernando de Cruz, which is a former assistant coach. And in tennis, Diane Schneider got past Madison Keys 6-3, 3-6, 6-love in order to advance to the Roland Garros quarterfinals. We also saw Maya Charlinska through via straight sets. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Karabo Chali joins us now with the very latest from out on the roads. Karabo, how are we looking in terms of presumably an increasing jam?
Yeah, so if you're heading into the Joburg CBD, we have that accident seen in the Boysons area on the M1 northbound before the Crown Exchange, and this is already causing more than an hour delay all the way from Boysens Road. So if you're coming from the south of Joburg heading towards Sandton, avoid the M1 at all costs. Rather use Crownwood Road or Kliprefir Drive as alternatives. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Joburg CBD heading towards Boysens. That's the opposite direction. This is on the M1 southbound between Killarney Benz and the Crown Exchange. Alex traveling towards Germiston. Traffic sluggish. N3 southbound from the Between Exchange to Van Buren. While in Protea Glen, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R559. That's main road opposite GOG Gardens. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to engage with some very interesting comments made by Busisiwe Mavuso, CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. She was giving a talk, an engagement down in Gqeberha, and was saying that there's a real downside to the corporate world stepping in to help government fix things up, be they potholes, be they public-private partnerships of various kinds, suggesting that actually this doesn't always strengthen government and its capacity to deliver things. In fact, it kind of lets some people who have no great inclination or ability to do their work, it lets them off the hook, and they don't use that as an opportunity to take this as some kind of force multiplier, to take a term out of law enforcement and say, okay, well, we can do more together, and say, oh, this is great. Thanks. I'm just off to get a snack kind of attitude. I'm simplifying it slightly. We'll get a much more sophisticated version, I'm sure, from Busisiwe Mavuso. But I'd like to get your views. I mean, when you hear that the private sector is jumping in to help government, what's your instinctive thought? Do you think, great, the more the merrier, better chance of more things getting done? Or do you sometimes think, well, maybe as Busisiwe Mavuso does, this may not be a good thing in terms of building longer-term muscle and capacity in the state? Anthony, I don't know if it's anything you give thought to on a regular basis, but you know the question's clear. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm always afraid that what happens when that funding gets taken away, when the private sector decides, hey, I no longer want to be part of this.
Yes, good point.
Then all of a sudden it's who picks up the pieces, or is it something that just gets left behind? Because if it is low down on the priority list of the government, when is somebody going to attend to whatever it would be? The thing that I always come to is in Bez Valley, there was a huge dumping issue at one corner in particular. And somebody stepped in and they created a lovely garden. And then once that garden was destroyed and dumping had come back, it fell back on that person's shoulders to try and deal with that matter rather than local government. And so I always look at that corner and think, if it hadn't been treated the first time, maybe then it wouldn't look like such an eyesore as it is now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very important point, the sustainability of that private sector support. Karabo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it raises a lot of red flags for me, particularly when you talk about private sector, you already talking about people who are interested in making profit. So for us normal people, it's going to be probably higher costs, and which we already paying out of our ears. And then also accountability. When we need to complain for lack of services, it's not like we can run to a political party or government and say, guys, you're not doing your job, we won't vote for you the next time. It's a private company. They don't really care. They just care about the profit.
Yeah. Okay. Give us your thoughts on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Coming up now for 10 minutes to 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Today, 702, I would take my mom to go and see her long-lost sister all the way in Venda, and she has not seen her in over 4 years. So that would definitely be a trip worth taking, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is what Dee would do if she were lucky enough to win that 5,000 Rand My Way fuel voucher. And she's on the line to us from Roodepoort. Dear, very good afternoon to you. So your mom and your sister, they haven't seen each other for 4 years. How do they stay in touch?
Hi, John. Yes, it's obviously telephonically, but yeah, that doesn't really help much.
Yes.
They really miss each other, and it would be such a wonderful experience for just to reunite them again, for even if it's like for a weekend or so. I know they greatly appreciate that.
And do they get on? Because sometimes when people don't see
they
each other, they get on better.
They get on. You can't separate the two. It's just that she's married and she moved all the way to Venda.
Right.
That's why they were separated.
Okay,
But
so
other than that, they get along like a house on fire.
okay, so you're gonna drive them up there, and then are you gonna have to like leave them to it and let them chat and catch up and go and do your own thing, or are you part of the conversations as well?
I think you know what? They're going to try and bamboozle me to be part of their convo, but
Yes.
I'll try and slip away quickly and just probably say I'll go and buy some food or something and then
take
just
your
show
time.
my people that, just for them to catch up.
Okay, well, Dee, you need to fill your tank. You need to block off some time. You need to tell your friends up in the north that you're on your way, because
I'm
I'm
on my
delighted to
way.
tell you have a 5,000 Rand fuel voucher. And
Oh my God! Thank
absolutely
you so much.
wonderful that your priority
Thank
is
you.
to do something for important people in your life.
Yes,
So
while they're still alive, right?
it's a beautiful thought you had. We're going to make it happen, and the reason we can make it happen is courtesy of My Way. My Way, live your way. You're going to be going up a highway, the N1, all the way to Venda, D in Roodepoort. We have one more voucher to give away between 5 and 6. We have more vouchers to give away throughout the week. Bongani Bingwe, you might have heard, was doing the same thing this week. Fabulous, fabulous gesture from My Way. My Way, live your way.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, we've been talking about the centenary of the Kruger National Park. Fabulous voice notes from many of you, and I've really enjoyed just the range of experiences that people have had. But of course, preserving one of the world's great game reserves is not a straightforward thing. On the one hand, there are the animals and the many things that arise in the course of an ecosystem that is fenced off in certain parts. And then, of course, there are the people who live on the border of the Kruger National Park. And for many of those people, they look through that fence and see land that was once theirs. So there's a lot to consider when we weigh up where Kruger is after a century. And we thought we'd explore some of these issues and just broaden the conversation beyond the sheer wonder of the place and its animals. For that, we're joined by Jocelyn Walker, Strategy Delivery Lead at WWF South Africa, one of the leading conservation organizations on the planet. Jocelyn Walker, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. If we were to assess Kruger in terms of its current sustainability, both in terms of its animal population, the funding required to keep it going, and of course, the essential element of good relations with human settlements on the borders. What kind of bill of health would you give Kruger as we mark this centenary?
Hi, John. Thanks so much for having me. That's such a good question. Kruger National Park remains one of the jewels in South Africa's crown of biodiversity. And we are really privileged to have such a well-established, well-managed national park within a whole system of national parks that we work with and have access to in South Africa. Kruger National Park generates the bulk of SANParks' revenue that goes into managing parks across the country. And I think from a bill of health, we probably give it a fairly good bill of health. But certainly it's growing its tourism revenue despite some of the challenges it's had earlier this year because of the flooding. But it really is a huge asset to our conservation strategy in South Africa and supports the health of other national parks. and underpins our budget for national parks around the country and other forms of protections, not just national parks.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to assess the state of relations, and by the way, I must throw this out to listeners. If you have lived on the border of Kruger or you've got family who live there currently, I mean, how well has Kruger done and Sandparks done in making people feel that this is of benefit to them, even if they're not going in as tourists, but in terms of jobs and other economic outputs from Kruger, that this is a benefit that benefits neighbors as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kruger is part of, so Kruger National Park forms part of a greater Kruger area, environmental protection area, and then it also forms part of the greater Limpopo Transfrontier Conservation Area, which crosses South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. And each of the different countries have adopted various different strategies to manage their own piece of that much broader conservation area, and how to benefit or how to try and be more inclusive to the communities and the people who live around its border. Kruger over the last few decades has dropped fences, increasing the actual conservation space, working with private landowners to create this more, a much bigger conservation area. They've also tried to do a lot of work with communities around, and we don't always get this right, so it's often a work in progress, but things that rest on sustainable use, allowing community members to come in and harvest for traditional medicines, for example, from certain areas under a management plan. So that creates some inclusive conservation. It's not always a perfect system. Mm-hmm. Another way that communities are brought into the economic system is around supply chains, so supplying the lodges with fruits, vegetables, and other things that they might need. Obviously also for employment opportunities, which is a big part. But realistically, I mean, if you look at Kruger's southwestern border, you've got Bushbuck Ridge with a couple of million people living right on the edge of this amazing conservation area. And not everyone living there is ever going to be able to benefit from that conservation area. So it is a bit of a mixed bag. South African National Parks, so Sandparks, has come up with this concept called the mega living landscape, where they integrate that national park through various levels of protection and securing for conservation, areas around and linking between national parks. And those give far more opportunities for people to be involved, because it's not that protectionist approach to conservation, but it does form these corridors and buffers around and between the different conservation areas, which create lots more opportunities for people to conserve nature and benefit from it financially.
Thanks so much, Jocelyn Walker, joining us from WWF South Africa. As I said, if you live in a community or have family who do close to Kruger Park, what's your take on 100 years of the Kruger Park? 702 Drive.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Irene Mpolweni, what happened to the tablets?
The tablets are not for the public, they were for the military veterans.
Sure, but did they get them? Did the 10,000 tablets get to presumably 10,000 military veterans?
During the time I was still in the department, we managed to train 3,000 military veterans who got their tablets. It was a 5-day training, and they get a certificate, and those that are assessed to move forward and do other aspects of the training were given that opportunity.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Mzansi Ballet proudly presents Heal the World, an inspiring new ballet set to the iconic music of global legend Michael Jackson. Choreographed by South African prima ballerina and award-winning choreographer Angela Revi, in collaboration with renowned Mexican guest dancer and choreographer Georges Wade, this powerful production celebrates dance as a force for connection, healing, and transformation. It tells a deeply human and emotionally charged story of resilience and self-discovery. Heal the World runs from 13 May to 7 June at the Peter Turin Theatre at Monte Casino. Get your tickets now through Web Tickets.
Outsurance business insurance, the cost was far less. I even have better benefits.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you get 24/7 access to panic assistance, roadside assistance, and even office assistance for guest houses, catering companies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance business insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
When choosing a university, facts matter. WITS is ranked #1 in Africa in the 2026 Center for World University Rankings out of more than 21,000 universities worldwide. This ranking uses objective data to assess universities on the academic and employment success of alumni, research quality and impact, as well as major distinctions and awards. No spin, no surveys, no perceptions, just facts. WITS has earned its place in the ranking that matters. WITS. For good. wits.ac.za.
This is EWN.
Makashule Gana wants the truth out of the Phala saga, and Sisisi Tolashe takes a leave of absence from her Women's League duties. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Lamini. Newly elected chairperson of Parliament's Impeachment Committee, Makashule Gana, says his focus will be to get the truth of the Phala saga. This afternoon, the ANC pulled a surprise move by nominating Gana, a Mzansi MP, to head the committee. The Impeachment Committee will consider misconduct allegations against President Cyril Ramaphosa related to the theft of US dollars from his Phala farm. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Despite attempts by Parliament's Progressive Caucus comprising the MKP, the EFF, ATM and UAT to rally other parties to support an alternative candidate to the ANC, it fell short on votes to back the UAT's Wonderboy Mkhatse. Instead, the ANC jumped the gun of its GNU partners by nominating an alternative candidate.
My name is Makashule, deployed by the African National Congress. I stand to nominate the name of Honorable Makashule Gana.
Rise Mzansi's Makashule Gana was seconded by the DA's George Mikalakis, a party he once represented in the 5th Parliament. Gana says his first order of business will be to set up the structure that will facilitate the inquiry.
Things that are outside of Parliament that might play themselves out in the courts, I don't have a response to them. I'm focused on the work of Parliament. I'm a parliamentarian, and that work is going to proceed without delay.
Gana says the preparatory work of Parliament must continue unless there's a legal impediment preventing it from doing so. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The ANC Women's League has placed its president, Sisisi Tolashe, on a leave of absence. The league says this will allow Tolashe to focus on the ANC's disciplinary processes. Over the past few months, she has faced several allegations of misconduct, including claims that she may have breached her oath of office and violated Parliament's Code of Ethics. It is alleged that Tolashe received 2 luxury vehicles from Chinese officials without declaring them to Parliament, and that she claimed that the vehicles were donated to the ANC Women's League. Alfara Mushwana reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa recently fired senior ANC leader Sisisi Tolashe from her position as Minister of Social Development. The ANC Women's League's National Executive Committee has since decided that Tolashe should be relieved of her duties as the organization's president. However, the league says Tolashe must still undergo the party's disciplinary process, which will ultimately determine her future within the party. It says it is not prejudging the outcome, but that the allegations require urgent attention, which would involve her removal from duty as president. Among the latest claims is that Tolashe forced her parliament-funded household assistant to share a 15,000 rand monthly salary with her daughter. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The family of slain witness D, Marius van der Merwe, has welcomed the Brakpan Regional Court's decision to deny his alleged killer bail. His sister, Natasha van der Merwe, says this has been a difficult time for the family. Marius van der Merwe was gunned down in December last year, shortly after giving evidence at the Madlanga Commission. Matipandile Soteni was then arrested and is charged with van der Merwe's murder. In a strongly worded judgment today, the court found Soteni could evade trial, interfere with witnesses, and tamper with evidence if released on bail. The court also rejected Soteni's claim that his continued detention would cause undue hardship to his family. Witness D's sister, Natasha van der Merwe, was in court today and broke down when she heard the bail judgment.
I'm happy at the same time that he didn't get bail. Happy with family. We all will be celebrating this. But with this, it comes emotions of why did they take my brother away? Why did they have to kill him in that way? The way I saw him in the coffin. Why kill him in such a brutal way? Why?
More weather warnings have been issued for parts of the Western Cape this week as another cut-off low system is expected to make landfall. It follows severe storms about 3 weeks ago, with many areas still recovering and some still without power supply. Weather Service spokesperson Elani Heineke says they are forecasting disruptive rainfall in some parts of the Garden Route and the Central Karoo from Wednesday until Thursday, with flooding expected in low-lying areas.
Two-day rainfall accumulations of 50 to 90 millimeters is expected over the Central Karoo, western parts of the Garden Route districts and the Swellendam municipality. That's where we have issued a yellow level 4. And then we also have a orange level 8. So this is for the areas where we expect 150 to 200 millimeters over the 2 days. That is then possible over the eastern parts of the Garden Route district.
She says the advisory also includes the risk of fast-moving streams as well as overflowing rivers.
So higher rainfall accumulations is then expected also over the mountainous regions. Given the current vulnerability of these regions following the severe weather system in May, as well as the near full or overflowing dams, significant impacts, even severe impacts, are possible.
Gold is trading at $4,506.07 an ounce. The rand is at 16.24 to the dollar, 21.87 to the pound, 18.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $93.98 a barrel.
Heading into the Joburg CBD, coming from Boysens, there's an accident seen on the M1 northbound before the Crown Interchange. This is causing about an hour delay all the way from Boysens Road. As a result, there's also traffic coming into the Joburg CBD in the Marshalltown area coming from Germiston. That's slow-moving traffic on the M2 westbound between Joe Slovo Drive and the Crown Interchange.
And in your sport, for the first time since 2023, a women's singles match is scheduled for the evening match of Roland Garros. While we, of course, have some good news for the Bulls, as Wilco Olo is fit enough to travel with the squad to Scotland ahead of their URC semi-final against the Glasgow Warriors.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 7 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 6 and 20, and Vereeniging 5 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Newly elected chairperson of Parliament's impeachment committee, Makashule Gana, says his focus will be to get to the truth of the Phala saga.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. You heard a moment ago Mbali Dlamini referring to Makashule Gana, newly elected chair of the committee that will look into the impeachment issues around Phala and President Cyril Ramaphosa. He'll be with us at about 20 minutes past 5. Really looking forward to get his sense of what strikes me as a very, very difficult and challenging task, but clearly up for the job, clearly keen to do it. He's with us a little later in this half hour. Before that, we'll talk to Busisiwe Mavuso, CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. She was on a panel down in Gqeberha. This conversation captured in a Daily Maverick article, who I think organized the panel actually by their journalist Rian Marais. But she's raising very interesting questions, saying it is in some ways very, very good that private sector corporations step in to help out with fixing potholes, repairing schools, whatever it might be. But she is warning that this might be actually entrenching certain weaknesses in government. Looking forward to a fuller and perhaps more subtle version of her argument. She joins us fairly shortly on that. A lot of you are engaging with us or in the last hour you did, on that 5,000 Rand that we have been giving away in fuel vouchers in the course of the show. We have another 5,000 Rand to give away, courtesy of My Way, Live Your Way. That's coming up a little later in the show. I'm not going to tell you when. You're going to have to stay listening for that, but we've got plenty of other good things and good reasons for you to listen anyway. 702 Drive, it's 11 minutes past 5. Some of you responding to the question that I asked you about whether the private sector's intervention and support might be undermining government's capacity and will. Take a listen.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Hi, John and team. My best Kruger National Park experience was in 2002 when they had the full solar eclipse over the Kruger. So it was the first time they'd actually let all the tourists and visitors drive in through the gate. We had to go through at 2 a.m, so it was at night. And then we had a full military convoy taking us in to the spot where the full solar eclipse had happened in the Kruger. And then we just sat there and everybody was here from all over the world, setting up their telescopes and everything. And yeah, it was just amazing to be there, because obviously when it went dark, then all the birds started their evening chirps, and then the sun came out again and they were quite confused. So yeah, that's my best Kruger Park memory. This is Chris from Radiohead.
Good afternoon, Dade John and the fellow listeners. That Busisi, we must not hold a breath, eh? Hey, I worked in the private sector and then I went to public. Here, those people, they are comrades. They've been planted there. They don't want to be held accountable for nothing, no consequence management, no KPI, no performance reviews, nothing. They get away with all sorts of things because no one is holding them accountable. They are protecting each other. When you come in, you want to structure things, you want to put governance in place, you know, to put control measures in place. They don't want any of that in that region. They just want to be in the jungle and do as they please. I don't see it working.
Okay, well, we're going to hear from Busisiwe Mavuso in just a moment. But let me first tell you, before we also update you on the traffic, about the music that we're going to be inviting you to contribute to in the last part of the show. So it's a new month, obviously, the 1st of June. And we thought, what about songs that have a month in the title? And this, for me, is one of the best, if not the best.
Do you remember?
So we have September. I've got a great suggestion for December, but we've got a lot of months still to fill. 10 at least. Your suggestions, please, to 072 702 1702, 14 past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. It was really jammed up in the center of Joburg. Karabo, Charlie, any improvement?
Well, this is in the Boysens area this time, but heading towards the Joburg CBD. We still have that accident scene on the M1 northbound before the crowd is changed, already causing more than an hour delay all the way from Boysens Road. So if you are leaving Soweto at this stage, heading towards Sandton, avoid the M1 North. Rather use Boysens Road. You can also use Kliprefir Drive or even Crownwood Road as alternatives. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Marshalltown area. That's still in the Joburg CBD due to that accident scene on the M2 westbound between Joe Slovo Drive and the Crown Exchange. In Alexandra, traffic sluggish. N3 southbound between the Between to Change and Van Buren in Protea Glen. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens, and in Boksburg, roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay on the M17 eastbound. That's heading towards Brakpan between Rondebolt and Carnival City. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen get the traffic flowing smoothly because when you're late for your flight, you're frazzled, so you forget your passport. And, well, you know how that goes. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsmen easing the traffic congestion for the past 20 years, everyone can get where they need to be, quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, let's get into that topic that I was previewing a little bit earlier. My next guest is CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. She has extensive experience of trying to navigate the many difficult conversations between South Africa's business community on the one hand and the government of the country on the other. Speaking at a gathering in Nelson Mandela Bay, Busisiwe Mavuso engaged on the issue of whether corporates stepping in to help government out was always a good thing. And in a piece that I mentioned earlier by Rian Marais, she is quoted as saying, "You will adopt leaks and schools and potholes until you are blue in the face. If you're not going to fix the political situation, the picture will never change." Busisiwe Mavuso, welcome and thanks very much for your time. It's a tricky area that you're focusing on. Is your principal concern that if the private sector steps in, this allows the very weakest areas of government and the most incompetent people in charge of those areas to actually step back and say, hey, you know what, we can even do less than we've done up to now?
That is precisely what it does, John. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for inviting me. So maybe, John, just by way of context, I spent 2 days in Nelson Mandela Bay last week, invited by the Nelson Mandela Bay Business Chamber, where they had their AGM and they had a strategic session around trying to solve for precisely this issue, because Gqeberha in Nelson Mandela Bay is one of the, probably maybe not most functional municipalities, but they've got a lot of problems. And remember, that is an area which is the manufacturing hub of this country.
Yes.
You've got Isuzu there, you've got VW there, you've got Stellantis there, you've got Aspen there. A whole lot of companies that are component manufacturers are in Nelson Mandela Bay. So I spent a lot of time engaging with businesses there. And what struck me was not only the frustration, John, but the extent to which businesses are increasingly carrying burdens that should ordinarily sit with the state. Across multiple sectors, businesses are now, having to repair roads. I mean, they adopt everything there. There is adopt a leaks program, there is adopt a substation, there is adopt a pothole, there is adopt it's just not sustainable. And in many cases, John, they are doing this while continuing to pay taxes, rates, and service charges. And what is particularly striking is that some business leaders are no longer asking how they can support municipalities. They are asking whether they can bypass them altogether. I recently had engagements with the very same community in Nelson Mandela Bay, and 2 weeks ago with businesses in Ngakamudiri Mulema who are actually saying, can you help us set up an SPV where we can put money as businesses use this money to can actually, fix roads, fix potholes, and manage around the failure essentially of municipalities. Now, John, that is not a normal conversation for business leaders to be having. It reflects a profound crisis of confidence in local government. But there is another dimension to this discussion that we should not ignore, John, and businesses have to actually constantly navigate this issue. So I worry that boards in France,
Yes.
In Japan, in China, in wherever, these principals are actually sitting, they are not going to actually understand, this mess. Because remember, a lot of these investment decisions of VW, Nissan, Isuzu, Goodyear, whatever the case is, those decisions are actually made there. And those boards, John, are not sentimental. They compare South Africa against Egypt, against Vietnam, against Mexico, against India, and other competing destinations. And remember, capital is like water. It will always follow the path of least resistance. It will make it difficult, for investors to lend here. If investors are forced to spend increasing amounts of money and management, attending and compensating for state failure, eventually some of them will choose to deploy capital elsewhere. We need to just ask ourselves the question, why is Nissan no longer an OEM in this country? Why have they chosen to change their operations in South Africa to be that of, what are they doing now? Sales and distribution.
Yes.
Why is Goodyear, decided to shut down their operations in Gqeberha? They are now in Namibia. Why has Continental shut down their doors here? 14 companies just in the last 2 years have actually shut down their doors in Gqeberha precisely because of these issues. And I worry about that.
Thank you so much. Lots of food for thought there. Busisiwe Mavuso, CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. And I'd love to get your views on that as well, because it does seem to me that where government can find a good, where the private sector can find a good partner in government, 1 + 1 can actually equal 3 and maybe even 4. There is no doubt in my mind that if you put two heads together, you can get, and two sources of funding, you can actually get a huge amount done. However, her caution, and again, I want your views on it, is that this could then become a reason for government people to be less driven, less focused, do even less, and perhaps for more money to be wasted because there's an alternative source other than the taxes that they're already getting both from you, me, and the corporate world. So your thoughts, please. 22 minutes past 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, Parliament had an important decision today, eagerly awaited, the first meeting of the Section 89 Impeachment Committee. Many of you will know it as the Pala Impeachment Committee. They had to choose a chairperson. There was plenty of debate in the preceding days, with a strong view being expressed that given that the focal individual in the sights of this committee is not only the president of South Africa, but Cyril Ramaphosa is also president of the ANC, and a strong view that the ANC should not chair that committee. That indeed is what has happened. Makashule Gana, who is a member of parliament for Rise Mzansi, has in a vote of 19 to 12 been chosen to head this committee, and he joins us now. Mr. Gana, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. 19 people voted for you, but 12 voted against, and some of them have, through their parties, expressed misgivings as to whether you're the right person. How are you going to shut out that kind of noise and focus on the task at hand? And by the way, congratulations on your appointment. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. The best way to respond to such is through the work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make a lot of noise now. I said that the work has begun, and at the end of the day, it is South Africans that are going to judge in terms of the work that will be done as the chairperson, but generally how the committee is going to function.
You'll know, I'm sure, from the way South Africans respond, Mr. Gana, for example, to court decisions that many people will, without knowing that they're doing it, and they certainly won't admit to it, will judge an outcome by whether it is the outcome they most hoped for. Again, I know you don't want to talk a lot about the static, but how would you sum up the task of the inquiry if it is not to be judged by its outcome, but rather by its process?
Yeah, it's a massive responsibility, John. It's the first Section 89 committee in democratic South Africa. So this committee has got the responsibility to restore the trust in the work of Parliament from the people of this country, and the manner in which the proceedings have to unfold should be in a way that South Africans will look at it and feel that we as representatives in Parliament take this particular responsibility seriously, that we are not going to use the committee to grandstand, but to seek the truth and work and ensure that each member of the committee feel that their views have been heard, they participate fully, they interact with witnesses, expert witnesses, and everyone else that will come to the committee, because it is in the manner in which we conduct ourselves as members of Parliament that will restore the much-needed trust between Parliament and the people of this country.
I'm keen to hear from you, Mr. Gana. What's the first order of business? You were saying we're already busy. We are up and running and we've got to get going. For the rest of this week, maybe the week following, what are your key tasks?
The first order of business tomorrow is to meet with the team assigned to the committee. Then we start working on some of the draft rules of engagement of how the committee is going to operate, the proposals. So these will be proposals that will then be submitted to the committee. The thoughts around the evidence leaders, because the committee needs to have an evidence leader, and then you start working through. Once that's done, then the committee will then meet to consider the draft proposals in that regard. But the first order of business for me is to meet with the team that's assigned. I did not meet with the team today,
right?
Because there's a responsibility to interact with South Africans through your platform, for instance. So it was not going to be possible immediately after the election to then say, no, let me hold off on interacting with South Africans about this important milestone in our democracy.
Right.
So the first day is to interact with South Africans through your platforms, and then tomorrow we get the work done. We start getting the work done with the team.
Just a last and very brief question, Mr. Gana. I mean, I was watching the TV coverage of the proceedings, and as the MPs were filing out, I saw Julius Malema and Glynis Breitenbach walk towards each other in opposite directions, and I was struck by the warmth of their greeting. Obviously, I couldn't hear anything, but there was a warm handshake. Each of them put a hand on the other's shoulder. And the question that prompted in my mind is simply this: do we, given that, Parliament, there's a fair amount of, I wouldn't say grandstanding, but certainly agitation between political rivals, and but do we underestimate the extent to which actually you all know each other quite well, probably quite like each other? And I'm wondering if that's true, if that's something you might be able to harness, particularly off camera, to facilitate a smoother process.
That's what we're going to do, and that's what I'm going to do as a chairperson. There's a lot that maybe it's not seen in terms of maybe the public and so forth. There's a lot of personal relations and interactions that happen. So we're not fighting at all times. We understand that we hold different views. So even those that will not have supported me, it is with understanding that. It was a contest. There's a person that got elected, and now we get the work done. At the end of the day, as political parties, we want to get to the bottom of this, and we need to produce a report that South Africans will be proud that their representatives in the National Assembly have taken this job seriously.
Makashule, Gana, firstly, thanks for your time. Secondly, we wish you the very best of luck. New chair of the Section 89 Impeachment Committee down in Parliament. May I have a thought on his selection? If you do, drop us a note, 072 702 1702.
EWN Business.
Stephen Critters, a very good afternoon to you. First trading day of the week in the month.
Afternoon to you, John. Yeah, not a great one, I'm afraid. In the last hour, Brent crude just creeping up, was sort of 92 earlier today, heading towards 98 now. May well sort of peak above 100 later, partly because of renewed conflict in Lebanon and Iran hitting bases in Kuwait where it can. So this has pushed the JSE All Share down 2.27%, 112,032 points. Financials down 2%, industrials down 1.2%, and resources down at the end of the day nearly 4%, John. And it's, as always, gold and platinum producers that really take the pain, but particularly gold. I mean, Pan-African resources. So Anglo Gold, for example, is down nearly 7%, but Pan-African resources are down 16%, despite saying that they were able to increase their gold production by around 40% in the last 6 months, producing a record total of gold. Obviously wanted to take advantage of those higher gold prices, but still getting hammered by investors today. Goldfields down 5.57%, Harmony down nearly 5.5%, Boxer down as well, down 4.43% after those Pick and Pay results out last week, and Netcare down 4% too. Tungela up nearly 6% on higher oil prices. Sasol up 2% on 4.38%, and Exaro as well up 2%. Tiger Brands up 2.25% at the end of the day. They're selling Beacon chocolates. They're keeping the jelly tots. They're keeping TV bars, Nosh, and one or two others as well. They do say, though, that essentially when you look at the chocolate market, the chocolate bar market is relatively strong, but the other chocolate market's not doing so well. The headline earnings from total operations were up 6.5% in the 6 months to the end of March. They had higher volumes, deflation during the period as well. Momentum Insurance saying headline earnings per share for the 9 months to the end of March are up 20%. Metropolitan Life reported a positive mortality experience. Their investment arm had very strong earnings. That was from positive stock market activity. And so you can imagine what that did to those earnings there. In the US, AI optimism, John, and lots of it. A bit of a mixed picture in the last half hour in particular, partly because of the oil price issue. So the Dow Jones is down 0.29, the Nasdaq is up 0.08, the S&P 500 is down 0.04% on the day. The gold price $4,462.17, platinum $1,927.50, Brent crude $97.29, the rand to the dollar 16.34 now, to the euro 18.98, to the British pound 21.96. On the Money Show tonight, John, we'll speak to the CEO at Tiger Brands, Chart Kruger. More, of course, on the oil price, on the fuel price rather, of petrol going up, diesel going down. We'll speak to Kevin Lings about that and just see if we can get an outlook for inflation. Have to look at what that'll do for interest rates as well. The Glencore Maraf joint smelter, they're back in operation because they've reached a deal with Eskom. And then an important ruling that cryptocurrency is money and capital. Now, you might have thought that was obvious if you never met a lawyer. But cryptocurrency is both money and capital, and therefore is subject to foreign exchange regulations. There'll be gnashing of teeth in some quarters tonight. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. The law and money, always important and interesting subjects, especially where they mix. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news now with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon again.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. 6 buses transporting undocumented migrants are set to leave for their various destinations and countries of origin following unrest in Mossel Bay. Violence erupted in the Kwanungaba area on Friday evening, prompting authorities to provide emergency shelter to more than 400 immigrants. The Mossel Bay municipality's Leon van Dijk says some are now being processed for deportation.
Consulate representatives were activated early in the process. The municipality has maintained close liaison with them, and they have visited displaced individuals since the onset of the protest, providing support and facilitating further investigations.
He adds that relocations are getting underway from later today.
Buses are expected to begin moving individuals today, 1 June 2026, with the relocation processes continuing through the week as arrangements are finalised.
The Electoral Commission says it's still expecting more clarity on a 30 million rand donation to Rise Mzansi that was converted from a loan. The Commission says it will be engaging with the party about the donation to ensure whether or not it's in compliance with the Political Party Funding Act. The IEC has also noted how the ANC has declared 2 late donations amounting to just more than 10 million rand. Babalondenze reports.
The latest donations to political parties have been published by the IEC, which lists only 5 political parties who've declared. The latest report covers the period from the 1st of January to the 31st of March this year. Among the parties to declare the biggest donation is the DA, which received 57 million rand, followed by Rise Mzansi, declaring exactly 30 million rand. But the IEC says the 30 million rand declaration made by Rise Mzansi represents a conversion of a previous loan into a donation. The Commission says the terms of the conversion are still to be clarified by the Commission. It says, consequently, the Electoral Commission will further engage with the party on this loan donation conversion to ascertain compliance with the requirements of the Act. The IEC says while many of the donations declared in the report predate the formal announcement of the 2026 local government elections, it says the size and magnitude of the declarations demonstrate that the election season is firmly underway. Baba Londanza, Eyewitness News.
And the trial of alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak and 14 others was delayed once again today due to one of the accused being ill. Accused number 3, Ziad Pool, was due to continue with his cross-examination today, but he told the court he was not feeling well. Pool, who is alleged to be Modak's middleman, faces numerous charges related to at least 3 murders, including the assassination of an anti-gang unit detective. Carlo Peterson reports.
Ziad Pool was said to be cross-examined by the state related to the attempted murder of prominent attorney William Booth. Booth survived an attempt on his life at his Ziggevale home in April 2020. It's the state's case Modak paid Pool to orchestrate the attack on Booth, using some of the other accused on trial. However, proceedings were delayed today after Pool relayed he was feeling ill. Presiding Judge Robert Henney warned Pool not to unduly delay the matter. Henney granted the postponement for Pool to be medically treated at Paulsmoor Prison's hospital section. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 5 and 7 degrees and highs of between 18 and 21.
Heading into the Joburg CBD, coming from the Boysens area, there's an accident seen on the M1 North before the Crown Interchange, and this is causing more than an hour delay all the way from Boysens Road. So avoid that route if you're leaving Soweto heading towards Joburg CBD. Rather use Boysens Road. This is you can also use Crownwood Road or also Kliprefir Drive as alternatives. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic due to roadworks in Boksburg. This is on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City.
The top story in EWN, 6 buses transporting undocumented migrants are set to leave for various countries following unrest in Mossel Bay.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
I'm trying to think if financial abuse falls into this category because usually we speak about financial abuse in the context of an intimate partner relationship. But I'm thinking, I saw a young woman who was sharing the story of how when she was growing up, she had to ask permission for sanitary pads and things like that. Like everything would get locked away. I don't know if financial abuse falls in there.
It also falls in there because remember, children do not own anything. So whatever that they need, they ask from you. So if you deprive them, that is also abuse.
Social worker at Kids Haven, Shiluva Mainike.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
There's so much health information out there, but how do you know what to trust? Catch the Clement Manya Teleshow tomorrow from 9 a.m. for Health Matters by Cipla Africa, where we'll be unpacking important health conversations designed to help you better understand your body and well-being. Health Matters by Cipla Africa is a trusted hub bringing you expert-led health conversations you can trust. Then head to the Prime Media Plus app or primemediaplus.com, scroll to Prime Media Highlights and watch the latest Health Matters video featuring leading experts and thought-provoking conversations.
Get ready, South Africa. Glamour, fashion, racing and music all come together at this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July. On Saturday, 4 July, Hollywood Bets Greyville is where style and entertainment meet in a celebration of country allure. The party doesn't stop at the track. Your general access ticket gives you access to live performances from Mzansi's biggest stars, including Mikasa, Will Lindley, and Tamara Day. From chart-topping hits to feel-good vibes, experience world-class entertainment at Africa's greatest horse racing and social event of the year, the Hollywood Bets Durban July. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Winter Symphony Season, featuring masterpieces by Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and more, is sure to exhilarate music lovers. Concerts take place on Thursday evenings from 4 to 25 June at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available at Quicket.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic,
unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, you have to ask yourself, why is no one adopting roads in substations and every other municipal asset in DA-run municipalities? Why is this happening where the ANC or some coalition of the broken leftists, ANC, EFF, MK, PA, okay, PA is not leftist, but just as useless. Why are we adopting roads and things in those municipalities? It's pragmatism, and we're forced to do it. That's why. So yes, it may give them an out that they don't have to do those things, the municipality. But the bottom line is that if you want destruction, theft, corruption, and ineptitude, vote for the ANC. The DA is not perfect, but if you want perfect, unfortunately, this is not the planet for you.
What a closing line. If you want perfect, this is not the planet for you. The question we were asking is private sector stepping in to help out, government fixing potholes, whatever the intervention might be. Is that a good thing? I mean, obviously certain things get fixed, but does that weaken municipalities and in a way acquiesce in poor governance? Give us your thoughts on that, please. Keep them coming. 072 702 1702. Now, the fuel price is going to go up again. We have the details. Petrol's going up. Good news is diesel, and crucially, illuminating paraffin is coming down. Either way, up or down, it's been rough. Very rough indeed. And we're absolutely delighted and appreciative of our partners this week, My Way. They have stepped in and said, let's do something simple but wonderful and give away fuel vouchers. 5,000 Rand fuel vouchers. They're going to do it all through the week on 702 Drive. And we've got an opportunity to give away one more voucher. The question we've been asking you, 5,000 Rand, you can do plenty. You can do a proper trip. Where would you go? Who would you take? And what would you do once you got there? And I'm only able to say, send us your entries because this is courtesy of My Way. My Way, live your way. So a chance to live your way a little bit more than you might have been with all the constraints of rising costs and high fuel prices. Send us what you would do on 072 702 1702.
EWN Sport.
Nobody yet has said they'd drive somewhere to go and watch some sport, but you never know. Of course, wouldn't get you to Roland Garros, would it?
No.
Anthony Teixeira. I'm not even sure if it gets you a baguette. 5,000 Rand. That might. Possibly some lunch. But there is some tennis on the go.
Yeah. Good afternoon, John. That's right. Roland Garros will be having a first women's singles night match since 2023 when Aryna Sabalenka faces Naomi Osaka this evening. The two previously met this year were both at Indian Wells and Madrid, which saw Sabalenka pick up the victories. The women's world number one reflected on those wins on different surfaces.
I feel like the last one in Madrid was really tight match, was great level. She really stepped in and raised her level in the last match, and I'm just ready for the fight. I'm ready to go there to fight for that match, for that win, and ready to do anything it takes to get the win.
While Osaka was less invested in those results.
I don't know, YOLO, whatever. I feel like I played a pretty good match in Madrid. I think I just dipped in the second and third set, so hopefully just keep the consistency and keep trying to be aggressive, and whatever happens, happens.
On court right now, Berrettini's won the first sets against Cerundolo, while Olga Aliassime has leading by the first set against Tabilo. After almost 4 years, Serena Williams will return to competitive action. 23-time Grand Slam winner will later this month play doubles at the Queen's Club. Her partner has not yet officially been confirmed. In rugby, Will Colo is expected to travel to Scotland to face the Glasgow Warriors with the Bulls in the United Rugby Championship semi-finals. The tight head prop missed out on their quarter-final victory over Munster this past weekend due to bronchitis, while the Wallabies will be without Jake Gordon for the upcoming Nations Championship. The scrum half underwent surgery on a torn Achilles after going down in the Waratahs' last Super Rugby game Saturday. And Bafana officially heading to Mexico for the FIFA World Cup. They were controversially delayed from departing Sunday due to players and technical staff having not received their US visas. It's since been sorted out, and SAFA have now implemented a 3-member committee to oversee administrative issues at the showpiece. A friendly for them Thursday against Jamaica before they kick off the event against the co-host Mexico in 10 days' time. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, Karabo Charlie in Boysons. We have more delays. Give us the latest, please.
Yeah, that's heading towards the Joburg CBD. We have that accident seen in Boysons, M1 northbound before the Crown Interchange, and this is causing more than an hour delay all the way from Boysons Road. As a result, also delays coming in from Germiston. This is traveling towards Marshall Town on the M2 westbound between Joe Slovo Drive and the Crown Interchange. Joburg CBD still bumper-to-bumper traffic. M1 South from the Killarney Bends all the way to the Crown Interchange. In Alex, heading towards Germiston, expect some delays. N3 South from the Butler Interchange to Van Buren, while in Protea Glen, Soweto, expect some delays. This is on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens. And there's also delays in Boksburg. This is due to roadworks causing about a 30-minute delay on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, Tata John. If I had to win the 5,000 Rand voucher, I would use it honestly just to go to work and back. As it stands, my car went into the workshop because of a massive pothole on Johannesburg roads. You know how it is. The excess for insurance is quite heavy. So that would definitely make up the difference of what I owe. Just going to work and back, trying to make a living. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, okay, so from trips to the north and trips to the south and game reserves back to the fundamentals of life, let's talk to the person who sent us that voice note, Assad, joining us from Northcliffe. Assad, very good afternoon to you. Sounds like you've been through a rough patch, eh?
Hi, John. Yeah, thanks. It has been a bit rough, but I can't complain otherwise.
Yeah, and how long is your trip to work?
Oh, geez. I stay in Northcliffe and I travel to Edenvale every day, so a good 60 Ks to work and back.
Yeah, long round trip. Well, I'm sure you're chewing up a lot of petrol. We're going to make it a whole lot easier for you with the 5,000 Rand fuel voucher and the point you made. You're just trying to earn a living and keep things together. And in the midst of trips we want to take, let's not forget the fundamentals as well. So, Assad, if we can ease the burden a little bit, we're delighted to do that, and we are able to do that courtesy of My Way. My Way, live your way. We've got more vouchers to give away tomorrow. 12 minutes to 6.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, as we always do at the end of the show, we are going to be playing you music. And because it's a new month, we thought, well, there's so many great songs that have the month of the year in the title. 1 month of the year. Some of them have more than 1 month. This one just has September. One more time, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Chasing the clouds.
While that song continues to play in your head, because it always does, trust me, after you hear it, think about your song that has one of the year's months in the title. Send it to us on 072 702 1702. We'll play the very best of the year's month's songs when we get back.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Irene Mpolweni. What happened to the tablets?
The tablets are not for the public, they were for the military veterans.
Sure, but did they get them? Did the 10,000 tablets get to presumably 10,000 military veterans?
During the time I was still in the department, we managed to train 3,000 military veterans who got their tablets. It was a 5-day training and they get a certificate, and those that are assessed to move forward and do other aspects of the training were given that opportunity.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Get ready for a bigger and better Lotto National Lottery. This Tuesday, you have a chance to win a massive estimated 226 million rand total Powerball jackpot. That's 226 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Tuesday, 2 June at 9 p.m. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. Yes, you, the National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Steve, you moved to Momentum. Congrats.
Thanks.
It's Tasha. Listen, the fast-paced life in Josie just isn't working for me. I'm migrating to the Cape.
What does that have to do with life insurance?
Well, you know I love a glass or three. And I want to age as graciously as a smooth Merlot, not a box of car Bordeaux.
Naturally.
And I need my critical illness cover to pair with those chill vibes.
Of course. With Momentum, you get the most comprehensive critical illness cover in the market. You could say it's a full-bodied offering.
I'll toast to that.
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
When choosing a university, facts matter. Wits is ranked #1 in Africa in the 2026 Center for World University Rankings out of more than 21,000 universities worldwide. This ranking uses objective data to assess universities on the academic and employment success of alumni, research quality and impact, as well as major distinctions and awards. No spin, no surveys, no perceptions, just facts. Wits has earned its place in the ranking that matters. Wits, for good. Wits.ac.za.
Not every change feels like a choice. Some arrive as disruption. Shift Happens with Richard Sutton is a podcast about those moments where life moves first and you have to catch up. When certainty disappears, direction blurs, and everything familiar starts to shift. You'll hear stories from people who face change, doubt, and pressure and found a way forward. Their stories give us confidence. Living vicariously through their experience gives us hope, and we learn from their journeys. Because what feels like an ending is often the beginning of something else. Shift Happens weekly on PrimeMediaPlus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Powered by First Light, therapeutics for the modern mind. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, good afternoon, John. The song that features a month in it that I love so much is See You in July by Paul Hardcastle. A very wonderful song. Herman from Randbeck. Chabai.
Hi, John. This is Knowledge here from Benoni. So the song June Afternoon by Roxette is so fitting. We just stepped into June. It was a fantastic upbeat song. I love it anytime.
Barbecue. Look at all the people, happy faces all around, smiling.
On this afternoon in June Afternoon by Roxette, released in 1996. More songs with a month in the title.
I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November, gone till November, I'll be gone till November. And by the way, give a kiss to my mother.
May the Lord bless your soul. I love you, girl.
Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself why, oh why? See, you must understand, I can't work a 9 to 5, so I'll be gone till November. Said I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. You tell my girl, I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till
Wycliffe Jean with the Refugee Camp All-Stars, gone till November. Also from the late 1990s. Lots of months, lots of song requests.
Good evening, John. David from Pretoria again. I thought I'd mention the song 1st of May by the Bee Gees. It's a beautiful song. Anyway, take care and enjoy the evening.
When I was small and Christmas trees were tall, we used to laugh while others used to play. Don't ask me why, but time has passed us by. Someone else moved in from far away. Now we are tall and Christmas trees are small, and you don't ask the time of day. But you and I, our love will never die, because who cry come first of May.
So many hits by the Bee Gees. That one from 1969. A little bit more of a rocker from Tracy, Guns N' Roses, November Rain. Yeah, and Karen also wanted that one played. Darrell, Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends. Lots of you requesting this one, and not surprising really, because it's so well known. It's such a great song. The Four Seasons, December 1963. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. December 1963. Oh, what a night. It's been great fun having you with us on 702 Drive. Let's do it again tomorrow at 3. For me, John Perlman, have a great Monday.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Business Banking, featuring the Agri Trends 2026 Autumn Edition. In agriculture, smart moves need smart insights. We get it. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, as petrol goes up and diesel comes down, what is the outlook for overall inflation and interest rates? The High Court says cryptocurrencies are both money and capital, meaning if you use crypto to move money out of the country, it is subject to foreign exchange regulations. Glencore Morafe stops its retrenchment process as smelters prepare to restart. And from 7:30 this evening, the massive headache and massive business of organising running and cycling races. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Puling Make. The ANC in Parliament says it was not hell-bent on chairing the impeachment committee that will investigate allegations of wrongdoing against Make. The ANC in Parliament says it was not hell-bent on chairing the impeachment committee that will investigate allegations of wrongdoing against President Cyril Ramaphosa related to his Parapara farm. The party's chief whip, Mdumiseni Ntuli, says over the weekend his party became aware of attempts to exclude it from the lobby to reach consensus on a chairperson because the majority of political parties do not want the committee to be chaired by an ANC MP. While it was widely expected the ANC would nominate a senior member of its caucus, Doris Mpapane, the ANC today took the honours of nominating Rise Mzansi's Makashule Gana instead, preempting the move expected of its GNU partners. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli says his party reflected on the reasons for the party being sidelined from the backroom talks and, after a discussion with the DA, decided to show leadership on the matter.
For us, it's not a matter of life and death to chair the committee. It was an option available for us, for the biggest party in Parliament. We have to take responsibility, even if there are major difficult tasks that must be undertaken.
Today, the Progressive Caucus of opposition parties